Fam, good morning. What's going on? Kyle Henderson, Bama football on YouTube. Can I get a roll tide inside the comment box? I appreciate you guys being here on this fine Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, April 30th. Let me know where you're coming from inside the comment box. I appreciate you, Undefeated, so much for being here. I cannot believe that we are already moving into the month of May, right? A lot to go over today, a lot to talk about today, a lot to discuss. I want to take your calls, 205-850-1994. The super chat goal of the day, at least for my segment, is $125. I appreciate you guys. Let me know where you're coming from inside the comment box. And thank you very much for being here. Once again, Kyle Henderson of Bama football on YouTube. Yesterday was a day packed with news. It was kind of a roller coaster of news, right? There was good news. There was bad news. There was questionable news. There was news that made you go, what? And some news that you were probably happy about. And I think what you were most happy about is the fact that Grant Nelson is returning. So that's point number 5 on my board. And I'm going to take your calls today. And then I got Ty Hayes from Around the Table Sports joining me right here on Bama Football on YouTube at 9:30. So I kind of listed the topics by way I wanted to hash them out, and I put the basketball ones at 5 and 6, not because basketball is by any means a backseat. It's just I'm like a systematic person. I organize everything by category. So Bama football on YouTube, we start out with football. Peyton Woodyard into the transfer portal, and that came out yesterday. Let me ask you, Undefeated, were you surprised to see Peyton Woodyard into the transfer portal? And from my understanding, prospects will have up until Wednesday in the evening time to still put in that paperwork. So we still could see some names going into the transfer portal. I think it's been relatively low, but Peyton Woodyard, I think, is a name that caught everybody's ear and made kind of people say, what? So were you surprised? Type yes or Y if you were surprised about Peyton Woodyard entering the transfer portal. I was surprised, to be honest. And the way the sequence of news happened yesterday, Cameron Howard committed to Alabama, and he's a prospect out of Charlotte. He played in 12 games last season. I appreciate you, Larry Large, for renewing your Fan Funder account right here on Bama Football on YouTube. We always appreciate you, and thank you so much. So, we're kind of getting to that point where if you need to renew your membership, go ahead and do that. We appreciate you guys. So Cameron Howard comes in, and we're excited about it, right? And I think, you see he played in 12 games, a freshman, and from what I understand, people were excited because he's a ball hawk. So you kind of look at the scholarship numbers, and if you've been tracking it, you see that put Alabama, I think they put him at 86, right? And what numbers are going to work itself out. So then later in the day, we find out that, number one, Ed Woods will be making a prediction today, and that is between Michigan State and by Alabama. And I won't keep you waiting. Ed Woods has been predicted to commit to Michigan State after his visit up in East Lansing. So you're kind of looking at the numbers, and then at the back end of the day, you have 2 pieces of news that flew out. And the first was that Peyton Woodyard was hitting the transfer portal. A talented freshman. And then the second piece of news is point number 4 was Elijah Pritchett was arrested. So let's start at the top again. Peyton Woodyard is leaving the program, and he has a do not contact tag, meaning he already knows where he's going to go. Similar to what Caden Proctor has, when he entered the portal, like, do not reach out to me. I already know I'm going back to Alabama. I think with Peyton Woodyard, I have no idea why he is transferring. I think, is he ready to play right now? Probably not. But in time, he can be developed here, and he could probably play sooner than later. This season, just because he might not start game 1, game 2, doesn't mean that he's not going to get quality time this year. I think he's a prospect that has a lot of upside. And now you look to that secondary, an area that was already depleted, right? And I get it. Alabama has had some really good additions to the secondary. Damani Jackson and Keon Sabb are names most notable. And now you have Cameron Howard. But this is a really good point. Why invest in developing players anymore? They're always going to bail on you. I guess unless you can match or exceed NIL, no wonder Saban quit. This is ridiculous. And I think there's probably a right to be frustrated about the transfer portal and about guys who you're really excited about. Think about this. If you put money into, one of these collectives to get these certain players or to help kind of the cause, and these players, and I don't know all the specifics on how it works, but if they're able to get paid for some point in time and then they leave, I think it makes you frustrated. And I think what is also frustrating is that it's harder and harder, and we'll see this more and more, is that if a player doesn't earn a starting spot right out the gates, then they're likely to seek other pastures. Now, we've learned that the grass isn't always greener. But I think right now, and I'm not saying that Peyton Woodyard has any sort of entitlement. I'm just saying I think entitlement does exist, right? I think players expect to come somewhere and play immediately. And if they don't play immediately, then that is frustrating for them. And I think the people in their back end as well are also talking to them, right? The handlers, the parents, because they know that the money exists. Hey, let's go here because we can get paid big bucks and you can play right away. So tampering, does it exist? 1,000,000%. And that's kind of the world that we live in. Let's take a call right now, and then I'll get back to point 2 and 3. It's a 256. Hey, Coach Darryl, thank you very much for calling in. Your thoughts on Peyton Woodyard hitting the transfer portal. Go for it, man.
Thank you, Kyle. I'm not surprised at all. And the reason I'm not surprised, these kids have been entitled since they were in junior high school. They got their way. They got what they wanted. And they are used to getting what they want. And if they don't get it, they're going to pout. And they're going to be a cancer. And good thing for the transfer portal, because it gets rid of people. And I hate to use that term on this young man, but that's just what I see. I mean, these kids today, they come in, they expect to be promised something. One of the first things Julio Jones said when he was recruited, the reason I came to Alabama, Coach Saban was the first coach that didn't promise me anything. I had to work for it, like everybody else. Mm. And today's kids, they don't want to do it. I'm a 5-star. I made this All-American team, this high school All-American team. Why? And then when they get there and they realize that, you know what? You a 5-star, but there are 20 other 5-stars here. Mm. I got to work my way. I got to wait my time. Mm. They don't look at examples like my guy from Phillips from Alabama that won the Heisman Trophy, Smith. He had to wait his turn. Derrick Henry had to wait his turn. Mark Ingram split time for his rookie year, his freshman year rather. So these kids, then as you said, they got all of this with the NIL now. You got advisors and family members and telling you, man, you better get that money. Yep. You better get as much money as you can. And they're using you. And I get it. I understand some of that. I understand some of that is true. But at the end of the day, when are you going to be responsible? When are you going to say, hey, you know what? Maybe I should stay and stick it out and let's see what happens.
Sure.
Let's see if they develop me. Let's see if I can develop myself. Let's see if I can develop into a man. Let's see if I can develop some character. Let's see if my word is my bond. Mm. Let's see if I can develop into that type of person. And they're going to be far and few between now because people are after money. It's almost like and this is going to sound a strange a correlation. I was reading some years ago on Kim Kardashian. I did not know that she had been married about 4 years out of high school, and the reason that the guy that said that they divorced, she was dead set on being famous. Mm. Well, a lot of these kids are dead set on being in the NFL, and they think the way to get there is by hook or crook or whatever I can do. I want to get develop myself as soon as possible into playing, even though I may not be ready, even though I might get out here and get burnt. I might get out here and have a bad year and lose my confidence. They don't think about that. They don't. That's why it's called coaching. You're being coached. You're being developed to be the best person you can be the best citizen you can be the best football player you can be. It's coaching. Someone has to guide you. If no one had to guide you, then you could do it yourself. But you have to have a coach, and they're not understanding that link. And that's why we are where we are now, and I don't see it getting any better.
Coach, I appreciate the call. I'll answer on the other line. I'm going to get another call, but I appreciate you leading off the show this morning. That's Coach Darryl. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate you.
All right.
Take my next call in just a second. Building off on what Coach Darryl just said, I think he brings up a really interesting point in regards to players not understanding that they couldn't be developed here at Alabama or anywhere else. And let me ask you this, Undefeated, inside the comment box, and thank you very much, Patriot Life, for gifting 5 Bama football memberships right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Let me ask everybody inside the comment box, this is for you, Undefeated. Do you feel, and this isn't just if you're leaving Alabama, this is if you're leaving Miami, this is if you're leaving Ohio State, and you just got there as a freshman, do you think that if you leave, you are kind of slowing down your developmental process to get ready for the SEC, for the Big Ten, for the NFL? It's almost kind of like you're holding yourself back. I feel that whether a player is here at Alabama, if they're, at Michigan, and you are a freshman, and more than likely, you are not ready to play your freshman year. Guys like Caleb Downs, Caden Proctor, it is super rare for a freshman to be able to see the field right away. We all know that, right? Have you ever just walked into an organization and all of a sudden you're the vice president or you're the president or the CEO? No, it takes time. And you have to get sharpened by competing against other people every single day. So when you just jump in and you don't know the system and you don't get developed, it slows you down when you're hopping to another company, right? You're hopping to another school. And I think also what Coach Darryl said, and something that I said, and what's up, Adam Lampella? I like the new updated avatar. I strongly feel, and what do you think about this, Undefeated, as well? Do you feel that some of these prospects, I would say it's a higher percentage of prospects, leave or enter the transfer portal because they have somebody in the back talking, hey, we're not talking about, you're not playing you. You're not going to get playing time. And you can get paid somewhere else. I've already been contacted. You can get paid right away here and play right away here. So I think sometimes the handlers who are still controlling the freshman and 18-year-old, the parents, are sending them elsewhere to get money and to play somewhere else where they can probably be less developed. Hey, Jay Townsend, what's up, man? I appreciate you calling in. Good morning to you. Thanks for calling in. Go ahead, man.
Hey, man, this is Glenn from Montreal.
Oh, Glenn, my bad. Glenn, welcome in, Glenn from Montreal. Glenn, I appreciate you joining us. Your thoughts on kind of the transfer portal or any of the points on the board today. Go ahead, man.
Well, the first thing I'd like to say is that those kids don't create this culture we live in. I mean, we'll live in a culture of sticking to things or intrinsic values. We're so externally focused. It's incredible. And these kids are just a product of it. And I think we need to cut them a little slack. Not to say that we shouldn't push them to be have intrinsic morals or values or hard work, but we don't create a culture that instills that in them. You understand? We expect them to come up with that themselves. And I'm going to tell you, every coach I ever had and every kid I ever coached never knew that the standard was what they thought was playing hard and what the coach thought was playing hard was always two different things. And we don't have that anymore in society. We don't have loyalty and work. Corporations are laying people off. It's it's universal. And we're just seeing it now in college athletics. And it's sad. It's the end of an era in college athletics, but it is what it is. And until we change how we deal with our young people, until we stop, we don't develop them. We have all these AAU programs. Kids are playing more games than they are practicing. It's just insane what we're doing. These 7-on-7s and in high school football, it's not, we're playing grass basketball and not hitting each other anymore. It's just a whole different world. And it's hard for an old person, especially like myself, to kind of come to grips and understand it because it's far beyond our experience. And these things that are just so different now than they were we played or even when we coached. One of the great things about DeBoer is I think that he is actually coming to grips with these things. Creating a family, understanding that, toughness matters, right? I mean, a world where toughness matters. I mean, imagine how alien that is to the average high school kid playing video games, doesn't have a job. Like I hear you talk about your kid, the pride you have in your own kid having a job.
Yeah.
Like how many have a job now? It's just a whole different animal. I started delivering papers when I was 6, and I don't want to be the guy that says I walked uphill 2 ways in the snow or something. But, it is what it is. You know what I mean? If you start working at a young age, you're going to understand the value of work. And that's not part of our culture. Last thing I'd like to say, actually, I have 2 things. I'd like to hear you respond to something. But one of the things is I'd like to talk about, the basketball team. Imagine what those practices are going to be like with all that we've recruited. I mean, there's going to be some heavy competition in them practices. And, the Oates being able to bring in a whole new defensive notion to the team that we didn't get until the latter part of the season last year. I think he's going to have a lot of ears because there's going to be a lot of struggle for playing time. I mean, just looking at, starting 5, where does Reitzel sitting at? And he's a damn handful.
Hell yeah.
And so I just, I look forward to, I also look forward to, having more bodies to put in the game of the basketball and what that means in terms of him being able to speed up the pace of play. It's going to be, if you thought we were fast last year, wait till you see the Maserati that comes out this year, fully. And then the last thing I'd like to say or ask you about is, do you think we're going to see any more people come in on the football transfer portal before we field our 585?
Yeah. I'll answer on the other line, Glenn, but I appreciate you calling in from Montreal, man. Always a good call and good feedback, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Glenn brings up some great points, and I think, kind of shares the same sentiment with a lot of us talking about the transfer portal. And I also feel that with the basketball team, what Glenn said is spot on. I mean, can you imagine the practices that are about to take place? And I think this basketball team is only getting better. I think that this next set of, this entire roster, I can't even imagine how ultra talented it is going to be under Nate Oates. I mean, like you said, right side. I mean, sometimes you have Grant Nelson coming back, which was monumental news. You want to break the internet. How about Mark Sears coming back? I don't know if he is, but I mean, he likely could. And I've been saying this for the last 3 days since I saw his highlight tape. LeBaron Philon, that young man, the ball handling skills that he has is an elite level. I'm talking like NBA level point guard style. I'm serious. I mean, check it out. I mean, you could put him at the 1, you could put Sears at the 2, you could put Reitzel at the 3, Grant Nelson at the 4, and then your 5 is maybe a big man that you bring in. Could it be Amori? I mean, that team would be unbelievable. That would be an upgrade from last year. I just named the starting 5, and I know you can kind of rotate in and out of that, but that is exciting. So, yeah, kind of breaking it all down. I appreciate the call from Montreal. Next up, we got a 201, and we'll take that 201 right now. Hey, good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Kyle, it's Adam calling from Georgia. How you doing?
What's up, Adam? I appreciate you calling in this morning. Hope you're having a good Tuesday, April 30th, man. Take it away. Come with it.
Yeah, thanks. I agree with the sentiments of your prior caller. I mean, our society, and it's manifesting in college football, These kids don't have values. They don't know the value of hard work, toughness, overcoming adversity. You see it in college football. I mean, look what's going on in these college campuses at Columbia, at UCLA. Total lack of respect for authority. And you know what? It's going to lead to the decline in our society if kids don't have those old school values, and the parents, the teachers, and the coaches to instill that in them. But on another, like, football note, here's my question for you. We have a pretty thin secondary, but we have an extreme amount of talent with those incoming five-star defensive backs. Why don't we just stick with them and develop them? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're going to have some growing pains, okay? But we start off with Western Kentucky. Then we have South Florida. Then we have Wisconsin. I think we should have more faith in them and commit to them and to developing them, because by the end of the season, that could lead to a really, really outstanding secondary and getting us into the playoff where, combined with our offense and our defensive line, we could compete. I just don't think getting a transfer or, this patchwork approach is going to make a difference. Why aren't we just investing in them, taking our growing pains, and growing as a team?
Yeah, I think when you take in a player like Cameron Howard, I would imagine it worked like this, because I think he does play the safety position. So, and I think Peyton Woodyard would have played the safety position. So I think that, and I don't know how this worked out exactly, but I would imagine Peyton Woodyard informed this coaching staff that he's going in the portal. So, the coaching staff had to fill up on depth and had to go into the portal and see who was available. And Cameron Howard is kind of, the patchwork, like you said, because I think overall, Peyton Woodyard is the higher rated prospect, but Cameron Howard does have the experience. And I think that they need experience. But I think you're right. I mean, the investing in the freshman is the most important thing, but you also have to have, Adam, like the freshmen that want to be developed, right? Like they have to be here and wait. And I think that is so hard for these guys right now. I think it's going to be harder and harder every single year because of the rules and the parameters and the NIL and the fact that these guys can get paid and the tampering. I mean, think about this. And again, I don't know if this is true, but this what would lead me to believe that Peyton Woodyard, with a no contact clause, right? So he enters the transfer portal with a no contact. Does that mean, and help me out with this, Undefeated, and I want to get your thoughts on this too, Adam. Does that mean that he already knows where he's going to? Which would mean to me that somebody has already reached out to him and they already have a deal. Right? He's not even going to explore the transfer portal. So does that mean like something happened behind the scenes? That's what that leads me to believe. What do you think on that, Adam? Does that what that mean to you?
I think it strongly suggests that there was tampering, just like there was with Proctor, and that really needs to be addressed. But one thing I'll say is this. When you tell kids that you believe in them, that you have faith in them, that you're going to develop them, you improve their self-esteem and their confidence, and you get them to be motivated to be successful. When these freshman DBs see transfers coming in, all it's going to do is discourage them. They want to know that their coaches believe in them. Just like Milrose said about Nick Sheridan, he believes in me. When you bring in other people, it sends a message to them that we don't think that you're going to be able to have impact this year, and that kind of disincentivizes them to really push themselves to be the best they can be. Yeah. But those are just my thoughts. Thanks for another great show, and I appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah, no doubt, Adam. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, good calls this morning. I appreciate, Coach Daryl, Glenn from Montreal, Adam from Georgia calling in this morning right here on Bama Football on YouTube. This is a point that I was also thinking about, and, here are the points on the board that we're talking about. Peyton Woodyard into the transfer portal. Cameron Howard, he committed to Alabama yesterday. Ed Woods, the prediction we said earlier in the show, is to Michigan State, not to Alabama. Elijah Pritchett, who was arrested, if you're just joining us and you're like, how was he arrested? This is the second time that he's been arrested within 6 months. He was arrested according to, I think it was Tide 100.9 that had the report. He was arrested during the weekend for speeding down on the Strip. That's all I really know about that. Grant Nelson, that was other news that broke. And Amori and Unyenzo, he's Uganda Yenzo. He's the big man from Kentucky. He entered the portal. He's been forecasted to go to Alabama, but he is testing the waters with the NBA draft. Clifford Amori, is the prospect out of Rutgers, Nigerian descent. He's 6'11", 245 pounds. and he was on campus yesterday. So I think if he's added to this equation of what Nate Oates has, I mean, I can't even imagine how talented this team would be. But that's kind of what we're tracking today on Bama Football on YouTube, and I appreciate you guys being here. I'll take another call. Ed Woods is expected to commit later today, and I just saw this morning that he's been forecasted to commit to Michigan State. So Chase and Bass, that's awesome, man. Chase and Bass, that's what's up. I would love to go. I love bass fishing. We have T in the house too. T, what's up?
Good morning, everyone.
Yeah, T. What's the bass? It's not Bass Pro. It's the
Bassmasters.
Bassmasters, right?
The fishing tournament.
Yeah, the fishing tournament. I would love to go check that out.
Yeah, it's a fun time.
Yeah. When does that happen?
It just happened, I think, like
it was.
months
Yeah,
ago.
okay. All right. What's up, Ebony Carter? We see you inside the comment box as well. We'll take another call. All right, you're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
Hey, good morning, Kyle. It's Coach Al. How you doing?
Coach Al, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. It's good to rap with you, man. I always appreciate you joining us, part of the Undefeated. Coach Al, by way of Tuscaloosa, now out in the ATL, man. Come with it. What's on your mind, man? Take it away.
Oh, just loving the show as always. Thanks for having me on. I totally appreciate it, one of the things we talk about this portal since we're talking about it. But, one of the things that kind of turned to me is I'm always looking to look at the glass half full, to keep it on the positive things. I love what Alabama has because I could be wrong. This is a prediction I'm trying to make here because I've been thinking about this thing. That we have the greatest of all time still in the mix, but great vision. That's the thing here. Greg Byrne, great vision. Coach KD, great vision. Courtney marketing staff behind the scenes. I think that Alabama is about to just shock everybody with this new landscape that we're dealing with a model that nobody's ever seen because they have these kind of visionaries in place. And I'm kind of talking vision here because I've been looking at this thing. If Coach DeBoer can actually go to Washington and take guys and his staff, develop 10 guys in the draft that we just saw with those guys, then what we do with Alabama with that mix, you combine that kind of skill and expertise and leadership and vision. Okay, so guys want to come and go and do whatever. We're going to have the ultimate crucible to develop talent on the football field with guys that we can actually go in and scout. Like, for instance, I will go out and scout guys and break them down and know I can look at the potential on them and know that they have a work ethic to be developed. So they don't want to come in with a 3-year plan like some of these guys. That's why these freshmen come in that are 5 stars and whatnot. We got a 3-year plan. I'm 3 years and I'm out to the NFL because I'm going to start as a freshman. But when that doesn't work, this current environment allows them to bounce with no repercussion. Okay, we don't want you no way if you want to do that. We want the guys that want to be built by Bama, that wants to put the work in and wants to be developed so they're ready to roll. So I think, this is me. Nobody told me this. Nobody's saying this. Is just Al Sanderson. I think we have the best possible combination of visionaries, people who actually have done it successfully in football, and guess what? Now in basketball. So that makes the brand so rock solid. We're going to get the NIL thing fixed from that side, from the NIL collective that we got. And we're going to be preempted to be how we react to whatever regulatory requirements come down. We're going to be ahead of it because we're going to be in behind it. They already asked Nick to burn to Congress to get on it. I mean, we're on the inside. This is just me casting a vision. But I think that we're going to be way ahead of everybody when this thing really rolls out. It's not an X and O football thing we always talk about. This is just me. That's how I think. I'm always trying to cast a vision to be predictive about how to gain a competitive advantage, but also to create a system like Nick did, actually blows everybody out of water.
Coach, I appreciate you calling. Yeah, no, I appreciate the context. I'll answer on the other side, and I'm going to bring in Ty, man. But I appreciate you calling, and always good to rap with you right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Appreciate you, Coach.
Always. We'll talk soon.
All right, man. All right. That was Coach Al by way of Tuscaloosa. We got a super chat coming in from Adam Mompello. Appreciate it. Kyle, regarding the defense, do you think that putting 5 in the box, incorporating delayed blitzes, and playing mostly cover 3 will make the transition for the freshmen and DBs easier? That's a good question. I think when you look to Alabama's defense, there's a lot of questions. The backfield is going to come together, but I think with the leadership that you have, I think they can still be aggressive. I mean, I'm curious to see what they do from the corner standpoint and who's going to be the corner. I would imagine opposite of Amani Jackson. And with that said, I think it's a good time to bring my boy Ty Hayes from Around the Table Sports. Ty, what's up, man? I appreciate you. Any thoughts on Adam Mompello's question right here with the super chat? And good morning to you, Ty, man. Welcome on in the show.
Good morning. Good morning, Adam. Good morning to everybody in the Undefeated. Great call by Coach Al. Getting to listen to the back end of that. I agreed with a lot of what he said, but I want to pick this comment up right here because I've been watching and breaking down, and I've told y'all before, I'm lucky enough to where I get to resource a guy that played for Gary Patterson, started for Gary Patterson. And for those in the know, if you know, Gary Patterson is like the godfather of the modern 4-2-5 defense. And so getting someone like that as a resource has been an unbelievable opportunity for me. And so when talking to him, I think, Adam, you're onto something. Cover 3 is going to be a lot of what we play anyways on this 4-2-5, if I had to guess, especially whenever I went back and watched what little South Alabama all 22 I had. That's going to be a lot of what we play, and it's going to be able to help these defensive backs acclimate. But one of the things I think that's going to be just as powerful for our defensive backs is who are they going up against every day in practice? They're going up against a Kalen DeBoer offense, which is going to be one of the most explosive offenses they see all year. I mean, when you're looking at the SEC and you're talking explosive offenses, you're looking at Heupel's veer and shoot. You're looking at Lane Kiffin's just amalgamation of so many different styles that he has tailored to his own. You're looking at Steve Sarkisian, and then you're looking at Kalen DeBoer. And those are really some of the most explosive offenses, not only in the SEC, but certainly in all of college football. I think that certainly helps, but the cornerback position, if you can get more experience there, you absolutely do so. Luckily, and we're going to talk about it here in a bit, Kyle, I have some guys highlighted that I don't know if they're going to be coming to Alabama, but I would certainly like Alabama to make a move towards them.
Let's look at this big board here, Ty. There's a lot of news yesterday. It was crazy, and I have it organized, kind of football on the top, basketball on the bottom. T, you okay back over there behind the glass? You good?
I'm good.
All right. All right. Your thoughts on Peyton Woodyard hitting the portal?
Yeah, I mean, not ideal. I think he's a very talented guy. Someone's going to get a very talented player. But I also think that this easily explains why Alabama went and got a safety yesterday, because Woodyard was working with the twos through spring, and now they get in a safety that has some experience. So I think it makes a lot of sense. At the point where they brought Cameron Howard in yesterday, I was like, hey, the defensive backfield needs more help. But more poignantly speaking, it's the cornerbacks that need help. But who am I? Like, if the coaching staff saw something they liked, I'm going to trust their evals until I'm given a reason not to. And right now, I have no reason not to trust their evaluations. So I think this easily helps answer why they went and got another safety, because they knew. One of the things I've been talking about, Peyton Woodyard's already in the portal. It typically takes 24 hours to 48 hours for that paperwork to process until you're officially in. If he's already in today, and I don't know this to be for sure, but I'm just speaking in terms of what typically happens, I would assume, and based off of what I was told by two different people, I would assume that the coaching staff was aware of Woodyard's intention to transfer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the same thing. So I appreciate that. And you kind of, if you rewind, and if we had a graphic of all of the defensive backs that have exited since January, I think it's like 12 or something like that. Now, they've added Keon Sabb and they bring in Cameron Howard. So, that you have brought in some guys, but overall, I mean, it is a large group from the secondary that left. That's why it's pivotal that you still have kind of the anchors and the vets there, like Malachi Moore, Devontae Smith in the background, and the added additions of veterans that have played, Damani Jackson and Keon Sabb as well. Cameron Howard is in. Any thoughts on Cameron Howard? Have you had a little bit to digest this? Played in 12 games last year. Looks like he's a safety. Clearly, they knew that Woods was going out, so they had to fulfill that spot. Your thoughts on Cameron Woods, who's out of Charlotte, now transferring to the Crimson Tide?
Yeah, I don't know a ton about him, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, he's going to be a guaranteed starter.
Sure.
The little bit I do know about him, the little bit of I've reached out to people, they're like, yeah, he's got upside. Like he played in 12 games, and he was becoming increasingly more difficult to get off the field. Had 2 starts. So from the people I've talked to, they like his upside. I would imagine this is going to be a depth piece. This is a guy that's going to develop behind a Malachi, behind a Keon Sabb, behind even maybe a Red Morgan. And this is a move to give us continuity in terms of a 2 deep and certainly into 2025. But we need depth at the defensive back position. So any depth that the coaching staff likes, I'm here for.
You know what? And I think sometimes when you have a player that comes from outside of, the Power 5 or, whatever it may be, I think that sometimes people feel that prospect can't necessarily play at this level. And I think, sometimes that's debunked. I mean, you could look at an example like last year. I don't think that people felt that Jalen Key, when he came from UAB, was going to be a starter. Right. And he was behind Devontae Smith. And then when, you have Khalil Jacobs that I think is still in play. He's a linebacker from South Alabama who could probably be a transfer. If there's some late transfer portal action, I would imagine that he jumps on board. He's an inside linebacker from South Alabama, played under Womack. But Jalen Key, right? People were like, oh, he played at UAB, but he played a lot. He played in 800 snaps or whatever, comes in, was battling with Devontae Smith, and then Devontae Smith gets injured. And Jalen Key, I think he played over 600 snaps last year for Alabama. In fact, he was even taken Mr. Irrelevant in the NFL draft. So, you need depth, and you're always kind of one play away. So like you, I've seen that people are saying he's a ball hawk. I need to have a little bit more research on Cameron Howard, but it is what it is. He's in. Another prospect that we're watching, and it looks like predictions have been made on Ed Woods. Ty, what's the latest with the Arizona State prospect who hit the portal?
Yeah, I think that Michigan State's the team to watch here. And listen, good for Michigan State. I really liked Ed Woods. I thought that he would add in depth. He would add in experience to this cornerback room. He's got some positional versatility, and he's certainly not scared to come up and stop the run. So this is a big win for Michigan State. If it is indeed Michigan State, we always know, listen, though there are predictions going in, though he has been fonged, and whenever you get your own adjective for inserting a prediction, you're darn good at your job. Though he has been fonged to Michigan State, it's not over until the writing is on the wall. But at the end of the day, this kind of goes back to something we talked about yesterday, Kyle. Do you believe you're going to be able to hold off these young guys all year? And in the case of Ed Woods, he's got a lot of experience behind him. He wants to go somewhere where he knows, like, hey, I'm going to be that guy all year long, no questions asked. And maybe MSU provides a more linear path. And I do know he has a connection to the staff. So something to watch for there. But if he does go to Michigan State, good for Michigan State. Good pickup for them.
Will you inform everyone, Ty? I know I ask you every single day, but, kind of our transfer portal guy that you've, dubbed the tab of, or the title of, kind of explain what we're watching in terms of like the transfer portal, the actual ending date of the transfer portal, and when's the last time that we'll probably start when the portal will actually close up.
Yeah, so the portal closes up at 11:59 this evening, but just like I alluded to when we were just talking about Peyton Woodyard, it can take 48 hours sometimes to get the paperwork official. So do not be surprised if Wednesday, Thursday, you still see names popping up in the transfer portal, because you might have guys going in at the 11th hour, and they're not going to be processed at 11:50 at night. It'll pop up on Wednesday. It'll pop up on Thursday. When I say it takes 24 to 48 hours, that's the typical time frame, but it's not like an immediate thing unless your recruiting staff or unless your staff that covers the team is going to break it. So expect some movement still in the transfer portal. And the other thing I would say is that just because the portal closes tonight at 11:59, you can continue getting guys out of the transfer portal to your heart's content. All you have to do is enter by this evening. That doesn't mean that teams' ability to get wins or additions via the transfer portal ceases at 11:59 this evening.
Oh, interesting. I like that point out as well. So this can, if once you're in the portal, you have unlimited time to still go in and, add players. Okay. So that makes sense. I appreciate that. Point 4, it happens. People, guys get arrested, and we talk about it as news happens. Elijah Pritchett, he's arrested for the second time in the last 6 months at Alabama. From what we understand, he was speeding. Some people have said it's been reckless driving, street racing. I don't know. I haven't even looked at the report. Did you see this, Ty, come across your news feed, Elijah Pritchett? Kind of your thoughts on Elijah Pritchett and what might happen or kind of going forward with Pritchett?
Yeah, first and foremost, Brandon, thank you for the $1.99. And Jeffrey, thank you for becoming a part of the Undefeated family. Happy both of you are here on this Tuesday morning for all of the news. Now, speaking about Elijah Pritchett, I did not see it when it happened, but somebody, and I think it was, oh boy, I'm going to mispronounce it. I believe it was Old Dude or in the comments. He said something like DeBoer needs to have a talk with Pritchett and just basically be like, hey, man, we need you locked in. Or else there will be consequences. And I think that that's a principled stand to take, because you just want to make sure that you have everybody locked in, right? At the end of the day, it's one of those things where he had a misdemeanor. He was speeding, if I believe, like 20 miles over. Not great. You never want that popping up, especially whenever there's just so much chaos in college football. You just don't want people capitalizing off of your chaos. And right now, with the portal being open, they can still capitalize off of our chaos.
One of the things, it'll be interesting to see what Coach Kalen DeBoer does with kind of the discipline, because I think this is probably one of the first times that he's going to have to take some sort of action with one of his players. And kind of looking back in retrospect about what Coach Saban did, sometimes I think you're like, oh, he was speeding or he was arrested or something like that. And you're like, Coach Saban's going to kick him off the team, and that's it. It was usually the opposite. It was usually like the player certainly got in trouble, but he wasn't kicked off the team, or he was like, kind of watched over, and there were set parameters and guidelines and mentorship. You kind of rewind to, other prospects that have been in trouble before. You never really kicked them off, right? You never really dismissed them from the team. You rather kind of put their arms around them, showed that player stern support. And, I don't know if that worked out or whatever, but it was just kind of his style. So curious to see. And we probably won't find out what happens with Coach Kalen DeBoer and Pritchett. If he's, usually we find out this is what it could be. If Pritchett goes into the first game and he was going to be a starter or whatever, he might have to sit out like a first half. That's kind of how these things generally happen. I don't know. But Todd, you're right. DeBoer has to set a precedent, because this is your organization. This isn't your team. This is your organization. Every single person. I was talking to somebody yesterday that was talking about this, the university, all the players now have to take, all the football players are now going to be taking online classes. And one of the professors was like, online classes, they're not going to receive the same style of education from just online classes. It's not the same thing. They're like, well, because they're having practice in the morning, that's what they're going to have to do. Wow. And they were like, what DeBoer wants, DeBoer is getting. And that's it. And, so they're going to follow to a T Coach Kalen DeBoer. And this is this is like his university. That's kind of the title that comes with the university.
Wow. So if you want to play football at Alabama, make sure that you're getting an online education and not.
Well, I guess for football, for sure. Yeah, but I mean, I heard this from a professor.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was like this big meeting about that, and they were kind of going back and forth because I think they're having practices. It was either in the mornings or the afternoons. It was vice versa, one of the two. To where that's just kind of how it's being set up. But anyways, he has to set precedent. Ty, do you think there'll be any other movements within the transfer portal? You think like guys leaving in the last second buzzer beaters that we should be watching for? Or is that just kind of, who the hell knows at these final, 48 hours?
Yesterday Kyle, it's ironic. I said that I didn't expect for any more surprises for Alabama, but I did put in the caveat of being like, but it's the portal.
Yeah.
So, like, expect the unexpected. And today, I'm not going to say the first half, but I'm going to double down on the second half. Expect the unexpected. This is college football 2024. It's the last day of the transfer portal. And while some people might think, oh, today's going to be quiet, it very well may be. I'm not saying it's not. I'm no insider. I'm just somebody who every now and then interesting things will arrive in my inbox. But what I will tell you is this. For as logical as it is to assume that, oh, today will be quiet, most of the moves have already happened, it's equally logical to assume that there's an Ohio State, an Oregon, a Michigan out there that's looking in the transfer portal and saying, hey, we haven't gotten the guy we want. Let's double down. Let's double the bag, triple the bag, and let's get somebody out. Because remember, tampering, though illegal, it's legal. And until they do something to stop it, good luck. So I think it's one of those things where it's like, it's equally logical to think today will be quiet, but it's simultaneously just as logical to think, hey, some of these big schools out here, they could start throwing around real big money or real big offers to try and get people to their location.
Ty, who do you think is the biggest, some bigger names that have, kind of caught your eye, like transfer portal winners, teams, big time players? You can include Alabama, of course, if you feel they're in there, or Ohio State or Oregon or Ole Miss. But kind of when you kind of zoom out and you look to a program that really utilized the transfer to their ultimate benefit, like who would that be to you?
I mean, it's tough not to say Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, I love it.
Look at what Ole Miss did top to bottom, and they got some huge wins on that team. Certainly Ohio State did. And here's the thing with Alabama, I think it's a balancing act. So if I'm looking at Alabama's transfer portal additions, not counting Saban's retirement, then I think Alabama did a really good job in the transfer portal. But the reason why that conversation gets super nuanced is because then technically we do have to count the losses that were sustained. And as much as I love what they've gotten, you're not going to replace a Caleb Downs, right? Like you're not going to replace some of these guys that walked out of that room. As much as I love getting a Keon Sabb, as much as I love getting in like an LT Overton. So for Alabama, I think it all depends how you predicate the argument. If you're saying, okay, Saban's retirement notwithstanding, what has DeBoer done? I think Alabama did a really good job in the portal, but Florida State did a good job. Ole Miss, I mean, geez, Lane's the portal king. We need to make that meme of the Tiger King hair over Lane Kiffin because they got a haul in the transfer portal. Kelly's saying Miami. Miami's certainly interesting. They've gotten a lot of wins. I'm just, man, and maybe Kelly, it's my bias against, I won't say I have a bias against them, but what I will say is like, I have a lot of questions about Miami and the viability of them going into this year with Mario Cristobal. I think there's a principled argument that if you think Billy Napier's seat is hot, Mario Cristobal's seat is just as hot, because at least at the end of this year, if Billy Napier makes a bowl game, they need to build a statue outside that stadium of him because of how difficult that schedule is. If Miami doesn't make a bowl game with that cupcake schedule they have, oh boy, Cristobal's done. So interesting conversation there.
Yeah, and I think Greg is right. I mean, I guess it's 12 guys out of the secondary. Plus, you have to replace, Coach Saban was the corners coach, and you had T-Rob, who was, the secondary coach. So you're replacing all of that, and that's an area of concern, 1,000,000%. I even felt during A-Day, and I know it's just kind of a glorified practice, but, I thought that overall, I didn't feel that was the strongest area, in my opinion. I just didn't. So I guess that's, we'll just have to wait and see. And these guys are going to have to grow up and develop. And good thing is a lot of them are here already. But now you have Peyton Woodyard exiting and a lot of other guys that hit the transfer portal. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Ty, I appreciate you joining me, man. Please, everyone in the Undefeated, please support Ty like you guys would support me. Ty, you good, man?
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you having me on here as always. It's truly a blessing every day I get to come on here.
All right, Bama Fan 95, I got you, man. And appreciate you guys. And away we go with Ty Hayes, Around the Table Sports.
Appreciate it again, Kyle. Thank you to the big three. As always, we have the undefeated, everything y'all do, the support y'all give me, Kyle, Smook, Coach Sean, Coach JT in the background. I mean, it truly is humbling. I said yesterday, it's kind of hard to articulate how much it means to me because I can say thank you, but that just seems like such a reductionist thing to say. Like, I really can't articulate how much y'all support means. I can't articulate how much Kyle's belief in me means. I mean, this is a guy that every time he's had the ability, he's letting me know, like, hey, I believe in you. Thank you for being here. And I can't thank him enough for giving me this platform because this is truly awesome. And T in the background. I mean, you look at these graphics, you look at the way all this runs, wouldn't be possible without her. So, everybody in the undefeated, good morning to you. Todd, Ebony, Marquita, Cynthia, Nicole, Dwight, Tim, Kareem, Hacker, Auntie Janet, Shane. Let's see, Jeremy, Mr. Yee, Trainwreck. Shane B saying Ryan Day's seat is the hottest. If he loses to Michigan, his seat is on fire. Jeff, my man, happy you're in here. Good to see you this morning. Southern Red, Dr. 334. Brandon says, "Ty, my brother, let's talk. What is the deal with Woodyard? We have him so much praise for the things he said about Bama and his performance, and it seemed passion for Bama. Now he's leaving. That's college football 2024, my brother. Like that's, I hate to just like, because that feels like a nothing statement, and I hate to just throw out a statement that I consider to be a nothing statement. But at the end of the day, how else are you going to look at it? Certainly, I wish the best for him. I wish the best for his family. I hope Ronnie, my man, happy you're in here. I don't think I gave you the shout out. Crimson Dad, happy you're in here. Steven Scuba, I'm always going to call you Scuba Steve. And Derek, happy you're in here, my man. So, Davin as well. I don't think I gave you the shout out as well. Adam as well. Al Sanders. Hey, that was a great call, Al. Great call. Great call. Loved listening to the back end of that. But speaking on this, I think it's just college football 2024. And this is kind of why yesterday I said that the transfer portal to me is fascinating. Now, understand my point when I say this. I'm not saying I agree with the current capacity of the transfer portal. That's not my contention. I'm saying that the transfer portal is fascinating because you want to know what the two biggest driving factors of change, in my personal opinion, in college football are going to be. The wild, wild west nature of the transfer portal because people are sick of it. I mean, in the undefeated, we already have Ronnie saying, I hate the transfer portal, and I can't fault you for that. I'm fascinated with it because I'm fascinated by agents of change. I'm fascinated whenever a problem arises, and it's like, oh, this can't be left unchecked. Well, that's where we are with the transfer portal. So understand my fascination doesn't come from a place of like, oh, this is great for college football. Far from it. Far from it. My fascination comes from the fact of like, we are here now. There's nothing to do but either adapt or change, right? Either way, like we have to adapt or we have to change. And the other agent of change is the antitrust structure of the NCAA. And in a roundabout way, they're both intertwined. That's why the transfer portal has no parameters on it right now. Remember, the NCAA at the beginning of this year tried to reinstill that 1 year window where it's like, hey, if you transfer once, you're good to go. But if it's your second time transferring, you got to sit out a year. A West Virginia judge put in a 14-day injunction against it, and the NCAA absolutely bowed out of the equation. And that gets me to the other form of the antitrust structure, which is what Jore's saying about the revenue sharing that's about to be passed. Jor, I have been saying this for about 2 years. Thank you very much, Adam. But I've been saying this for 2 years. That the current model of college football wasn't sustainable, nor do I believe it's good for all parties involved. I think NIL is fine, but we have to have common sense parameters around it. This is why I say that. The NFL is a professional sports league, and they have a salary cap, right? So even the NFL understands, okay, we need to get people paid, but we also need competitive balance to make sure our product is still enticing. And that's what college football has to do. Now, in my humble opinion, and once again, I'm an idiot, so take what I say with a grain of salt, but I have been saying for 2 years now that the best way, the most common sense way to do this is revenue sharing. It's the most common sense way to make sure that the players get paid and that you still can have some sort of semblance of competitive balance. Now, with revenue sharing, I think that NIL is fine, but you have got to restructure NIL to be more what it was for and less what we currently see it as. Right? I think right now NIL, let's be honest, it's pay for play. And I don't mind it because like that's where we are. When I say I don't mind it, I don't mind the theory of NIL. Let me be more poignant. I don't mind the theory of NIL. In its inception, in its idea, it's fine. The problem is the NCAA is too scared to do anything because of all of the hand sitting they have done for years. They caused this problem by not foreseeing what was coming. And ladies and gentlemen, I have to be honest here. I remember back in 2010, 2011, 2012, we'd sit in the cafeteria at lunch, go to the library where they had the free sport magazines for us to get. Do y'all remember those in high school? They had those, it wasn't ESPN, but it was another sports magazine that they had in there. And I remember going into the library, sitting with all of my friends, and we would talk about they are going to have to revenue share at some point is the NCAA. If a bunch of high schoolers knew this 14 years ago, then it is inexcusable that the NCAA has sat on their hands. I mean, absolutely inexcusable. The Supreme Court created this by doing it, I don't disagree with you, Adam. I would argue that the NCAA, the Supreme Court exacerbated a problem that was inevitably coming about. That's the only area we would differentiate, but you're 100% right. Now, understand that the Supreme Court, they have limited scope in terms of like, well, they do and they don't. They're supposed to have a limited scope in terms of, oh, we're here to look at this. This is what we're here to look at. That's why it was always so fascinating to me that they were there to look at something minute, and instead Kavanaugh pulled the whole curtain back and shot his shot. That's when I was like, whoa, they want to hear this. But you are right. The NCAA, this problem was already there. It's almost like if your body has a sickness, a real bad sickness, and you need to go to the doctor, and instead someone lights you on fire. It's like, yeah, the fire certainly accelerated your demise, but there was already a problem there. The fire just accelerated the problem. You know, does that make sense? But you're certainly right. You're certainly right. I don't disagree with you, Zach. I don't disagree with you. That's the part where it's like, that's why I don't disagree, Adam. I don't disagree with that. Zachary says, Ty, we can't complain about the players jumping schools when the coaches have been doing the same since the beginning. But yeah, this is the interesting balancing act. And I certainly don't have the answers, Zach. I wish I did, but I certainly don't have the answers. Adam, thank you for becoming a member, my man. Great discourse, by the way. I love that comment about certiorari, and I love the comment about the NCAA causing this. Like I said, I completely agree with you, or the Supreme Court, I apologize, causing this. Like I said, I completely agree with you. The only area where we differ only slightly is I think that the Supreme Court accelerated a problem that was inevitably coming. And I think that the NCAA has sat on their hands long enough to where if they were interested in fixing this, they could have fixed it. But there is no argument that the Supreme Court didn't pour gasoline on a fire. I think that's the analogy I'm looking for. Your house was already on fire, and what the NCAA did was pour gasoline on the fire. That's the analogy I'm looking for. That's the analogy I'm looking for. It's crazy that you enrolled early, fourth quarter program, strength and conditioning, had a great spring, good A-Day. And well, yeah, listen, Run, this is the only thing I will say. At least he gave the staff a chance. Like, Peyton Woodyard was a guy that was recruited by Nick Saban. Part of what I have continued to dub as Nick Saban's parting gift. He gave the new staff a chance. He went through the process, and then he decided it wasn't for him. I do have a level of respect for that. I certainly do. Because there were a lot of guys that jumped ship when Saban retired that maybe if they were here, they wouldn't have jumped ship. Or maybe they would have gone through spring and decided, hey, this isn't for me. I'm going to look elsewhere. But he gave the staff a chance. And for that, I certainly have respect, right? Like, I really wish he would have stayed, but he gave the new staff a chance. So that's kind of like which way you want to look at it type of thing. Bama has the money. Why aren't we doing what other schools are doing? Let's get whoever the hell we want. Bama has the money, but they're still in the process of making their NIL what it needs to be. Right. They're still, I actually just, when I, kind of what I was hinting at earlier, I got a very interesting message while we were talking with Kyle in regards to Bama's NIL and how other people are moving in relation to how Bama is moving. And ladies and gentlemen, it is official. Per Hayes Fawcett, breaking, former Arizona State DB Ed Woods has committed to Michigan State. He tells On 3. 1 year of eligibility remaining. Good for Michigan State. Good for Michigan State. Yeah, I mean, that sucks. That sucks. Now, I do have other names I'm going to bring to you all about who I would like to see Alabama go after. Jermaine says, I can't wait to see the transfer portal ruins a kid's development so we can use him for... When you're right, you're right. This is the tragedy of all of this, ladies and gentlemen, and this is the part that even I don't talk about enough. There are real victims in all of this, and it's going to be the people that we champion as, see, this is why we need parameters. And you're right, Jermaine. You're certainly right here. Certainly right here. Seems like they put all the minute in. Football is struggling to get group of 5 players. It's one of those things, man. Like I said, I got some interesting news. Interesting news about Bama still in the process of trying to revitalize their NIL program. And I think that is absolutely true because it's coming from a very interesting source. So I think that once you can kind of revitalize your NIL, we'll be good to go. And the ability's there. The ability is certainly there. But I also think that the donors have benefited, or the powers that be at Alabama have benefited from the Saban discount since the inception of NIL. Well, Bama as a brand might be able to get you a slight discount, but it's not the Saban discount. And there might have to be some hard lessons learned before they pony up. Remember, Nick Saban himself went in front of a camera and said what he said about Texas A&M, said what he said about teams in the SEC, not to point the finger at them, but to tell the donors, to tell the powers that be, this is real. It's put up or shut up time, because other people, they're putting up, and they're putting up a lot. And, obviously Saban uses the media as a sword. Brilliant at it. Absolutely brilliant at it. And so, yeah, I mean, it's something that Alabama's NIL is still being revitalized, still a ways to go, but hopefully it gets there. They certainly have the ability to do so. Revenue sharing won't stop the way the portal is. Yes and no, Bama boy. Here's why. Because once you start setting the precedent to become legal and constitutional from an antitrust structure, you can then start doing things about the transfer portal with more fluidity. Right? There's a reason why in the NFL you can't just hop from team to team to team to team, and there's not an antitrust violation there because you have contractual agreements. So it's one of those things where you're right. In its current capacity, revenue sharing won't stop the way the transfer portal is, no doubt about it. But revenue sharing opens the doors to solutions because then you become constitutionally viable from an antitrust structure in the eyes of the judicial system. Right. And that's the most important thing. If I'm speaking from the NCAA's perspective right now, the most important thing they need to figure out is how to be constitutionally viable from an antitrust structure. And then they can go about fixing some of this. Once again, that's just my opinion on the matter. I could be 100% wrong, but that's just the way I look at it. Yeah, no doubt, Chris. It's one of those things where it's like you have the ability to. It's just about ponying it up. Andy has the no contact. If he ends up in the Big 12, I would look at the Big 10. Run the table. I would look at the Big 10. Oh, it's not news, Brandon. It's essentially what I'm telling you right now. The guy, someone just texted me, basically saying like, "Hey, there's a trend right now of these institutions hiring marketing professionals to head their NIL, and it's making a discernible difference. It's time for Alabama to do the same." Now, like they said, they're currently attempting to, but they're not going to benefit from the Saban discount. So there's no like secret information that I can't share there. It's just that's the spark notes of the message I received. One-time transfer or transfer if coach leaves. I agree, Dwight. I agree. One-time transfer is all good with me, all gravy. And I don't even disagree when like Saban retired. If you want to transfer, then cool. I agree. I agree, Al. It's still there. Who run? This is a good question. Coach Smook in the building. But I love this. Al. Because I certainly think you're well placed. Hey, listen. I'm going to stay talking football. No offense to basketball, but I'm going to stay talking football. We're swinging and missing on 3 stars. That's the nature of the beast. Like I said, I wanted Ed Woods, good for Michigan State, getting him Hunter, but this is the only caveat I can provide you. Michigan State provides far more linear playing time in terms of, this is what I mean when I say that. Ed Woods is a really solid player, right? Did really good things for Arizona State. Michigan State doesn't have a Zabian Brown, a Jalen Mbakwe, a Zay Mincy, and a Jaleel Hurley breathing down your neck for the entire of the season. They don't have that. And so it is almost more security for a guy that has 1 year of eligibility left. Ed Woods is in a position where he wants to go somewhere that will get him developed. He knows the defensive back coach at Michigan State. He has a pre-existing relationship with him. If I'm not mistaken, he had a friend play for Michigan State, and it went well. But they don't have a Zabian Brown, a Jaleel Hurley, a Zay Mincy, and a Jalen Mbakwe that are going to be breathing down his neck, to where if you mess up, you might give that position to Zay Mincy, Zabian Brown, Jalen Mbakwe, or Hurley, and they might not look back. And then you've transferred with only 1 year left, and you're going to have to rely on pre-existing film to be the carrying aspect into the NFL. I'm not saying that's what it was. I'm only reading tea leaves, and I'm only giving my opinion on the matter, right? But that's one thing we do need to keep in consideration. Is Michigan State does not have 3 5-star defensive backs plus a former 5-star defensive back in Jaleel Hurley breathing down your neck. If you mess up and you get that position to Zabian Brown, Zay Mintz, any of those guys, they might not look back. Toriano Pride's already at Missouri. He's already spoken for. So he's already at Missouri, so he's out of the transfer portal. And Takario Davis, your guess is as good as mine there, brother. Like, I have no idea what to tell you there. He still has that no contact clause. And it is what it is. Coach says Kyrie. Yeah, great point, Coach. Great point. 100%. If you are in a position and you know, like, okay, if I mess up and one of these young guys come in, they might not give it back. And so you got to get a guy in the portal who's going to be like, okay, that is what it is. Did you see that? Yep. I do not know. His name is Enoch. I'm going to absolutely butcher that name, Jimmy Brown's. And out of respect for him, I don't want to butcher it. But he's from Honolulu, Hawaii. He was ranked, I believe, number 115 in the nation, one of the top interior offensive linemen coming out of Ohio State. Yeah, it's one of those things, Jermaine, where I have no doubt he would have came in here, made an impact, but I always liken back to this, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of those situations where let's put ourselves in Ed Wood's shoes. Might be hard to look at what Alabama has, though they need depth, though they need more numbers, talent is there. And at a certain time, one of these or two of these or three of these freshmen are going to have that light bulb moment. Click. If you mess up and they put that guy in, the leash for a freshman messing up is going to be much longer than a leash for the senior messing up. You get what I mean? Like if you're a true freshman and you have a mistake, Walmick might get in you. Like he might start yelling at you. Mo Linguist might start yelling at you, but they're going to understand, oh, you're a freshman. Let's coach him up. If you're a senior making that mistake, they might just pull you. And then they give it to one of those freshmen. And like I said, they have a longer leash. So it's all good. I certainly understand it. I certainly understand the reasoning. I certainly hope Ed Woods finds what he's looking for, and I will be rooting for him. Mr. Yee says y'all sleeping on Dre Jr. He's a safety, Mr. Yee. If I'm not mistaken, weren't they going to put him at safety, or have they slotted him at cornerback? I thought he was, he's a safety. And we're talking about like outside corners, which listen, they might put him there. I'm not saying he doesn't have the ability. That's not my contention. I'm just saying right now, if you look at the outside cornerbacks, it's of my understanding that he wasn't working there. He was working with the safeties and looked darn good doing so. So yeah, you're Mr. Yee, in all respect, you're having a totally different conversation than the rest of us. Ty, what's up? What's those names you wanted to drop on us? Yeah, I got several. I got 4 names. So one of them, D'Angelo Pons. D'Angelo Pons from JMU. If you actually look at On3, he's the number 2 corner in the nation. Available in the transfer portal. Oh, mister, I don't think anybody's disputing that, but we're talking specifically about cornerbacks right now. And Dre's going to be a monster. But, mister, did you notice I also haven't said anything about Red Morgan? That's because I'm not worried about the safeties. When I look at the safety position, and we can have this conversation, no doubt about it. When I look at the safeties, Alabama has got a lot to be excited about there. In between Red Morgan, in between Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., in between Keon Sabb, Tony Mitchell, lest we forget Tony Mitchell, Devontae Smith, Brayson Hubbard. That, I'm not worried about the safeties. They're going to be fine. It's the outside cornerbacks where if I'm looking from a scholarship perspective, and I might be wrong, but you only have like 5 or 6 guys on Scully at outside corner. And if they want to move him to quarterback, if he's down with it, by all means. Ty, these 3 freshman defensive backs are fast and incredibly talented 5-stars, and they have 4 months to keep developing. Given their talent and coaching, why shouldn't we expect that they can be great this year? They can be. They can be great. There's no doubt about it. Well, yeah, mister, that was my whole point. That's why whenever you said we're sleeping on him and we're chumping him, the only reason we didn't mention him is because we're talking corners. Like I said, I'm not worried about safeties. Safeties between Dre Kirkpatrick Jr., between Keon Sabb, between Tony Mitchell, between Malachi Moore, between Hubbard, between Red Morgan, that room is going to be unbelievable. I'm not worried about that. It's the outside corners. And Adam, thank you for the $20, and you're certainly right. They have all the ability in the world to be great, but I would also like to pair them with experienced players who can be like, hey, I can teach, right? Like, not only can I contribute, I can teach. So we'll see, but you know me, man. I love what they have there. At the in terms of young cornerbacks. So we talked about someone wanted to know the numbers. Any chance you know where? I think they're at 84. I'm more worried about who's going to be our backup center. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one, Coach Al. Now, I believe they were working with several different guys there, but it certainly needs to come about. It certainly needs to come about. As we saw last year, you can never have too many numbers there. Ty, what's your personal channel? It's Around the Table Sports. Terrible name, I know. I didn't expect it to get big. They told me whenever I was looking at a career switch, they said, hey, make a YouTube channel, just make some videos, get a reel together, and then maybe one of these companies will hire you. Well, it ended up blowing up, and I did not expect that. That's why the logo doesn't really make much sense, because I didn't expect it to get big, but I also understand my roots and where I come from. So that's why I've kind of kept it that same style, right? Because if the people rock with it, I rock with it. So it is what it is. But would love to have you over there, Brandon. Would love to have you over there. And it's from TCU is available now. Yep, there's some different names going in the transfer portal. So we talk about D'Angelo Pons. If we look at On3, they have him as the number 2 cornerback available in the nation. He played his freshman year at JMU. And for those of you that were like really deep into college football, you'll know JMU. I mean, they do some things. Now, also, I have family that went to JMU. So I hear from them all the time. In my family, there is a massive debate between ODU and JMU for my family on the East Coast, and they fight like cats about it. Absolutely fight. Webb's, he's at Michigan State. He's at Michigan State. Unfortunate. Wisconsin cornerback Michael Mack is expected to enter the transfer portal. Please, 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 Most High, allow Ricardo Hallman to enter into this damn transfer portal. Please, I beg of you. If Ricardo Hallman enters into the transfer portal, I will personally get Grandalf, the transfer portal wizard, back in here. I will summon him. He may hex me. He may beat me up with his walking stick. I will get him back in the building. Or I'll find someone else. I'll do it. I am not a proud name. Or I am not a proud man. What's that from the I am not a proud man. That's me. I don't care. Please, please let Wisconsin quarterback Ricardo Hallman into the transfer portal. Because I think, like I said before the transfer portal opened, I think he's one of the most gifted cornerbacks in the nation. I love his game, and I was really hoping that he'd be inclined to follow Coach Hitchler. Don't know if he will. This is simply me talking. I will always be honest with y'all. I'm not an insider. I'm just someone who talks about college football, and every now and then I have very interesting information arrive in my inboxes, but I don't go out and seek it. I like to call myself a fanalist, right? I'm one of you with a microphone and much worse looking. That's me. I'm one of you in the undefeated with a microphone and much worse looking. No, I didn't expect it to be big at all, Southern. I didn't expect it at all, because I didn't have consistent internet until I got to college. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like, oh, here's a camera, here's a webcam, and I'm going to talk into this mic about college football, and maybe people will listen. And luckily, I have a community that I don't deserve, right? I always say, between the undefeated here and the community I have on my channel, I think it's a real principled argument that it's the best community, not on college football YouTube, but one of the best communities on the whole platform. You know it's great whenever you have Texas fans and Oklahoma fans debating in the comments without ripping each other's heads off. They're talking ball. I love that. Absolutely love that. Make sure Grandolph has... If he hexes me, he can get bent. He's not getting any AC. All right? Man, beat me up with a stick. K-spray. And you want me to get him AC. So, we talk about D'Angelo Pons. Jor, our resident... I mean, goodness gracious. Jor is so quick with his information. Michael Mack, someone to watch. Certainly going to write that name down. The other names I have for you. Is one we've talked about. In line to come to Bama. Hey, you and me both, brother. You and me both. You and me both. I'm waiting to see. Yeah, talked about it, AJ, but as always, guys, if you're coming in here, guys and gals, if you're coming in here, never be afraid to ask a question. Even if we've talked about it, I understand your time is valuable. Right? Your time is very valuable. And it's difficult to be in here for every segment. You might have to put the headphones down and you may miss it. So Ed Woods is at Michigan State. Sucks, but it is what it is. Blunt, I really like the save on that one, my man. I really like the save on that one because I was really wondering what the heck you were meaning before that second message. So I'm glad we're on the same page because I was like, excuse me? But we're not there. So we've talked about D'Angelo Pons. Another one we've talked about extensively is Anthony Johnson Jr. from Western Kentucky. Very highly rated cornerback, one of the highest rated cornerbacks in the nation. And whenever we look at Anthony Johnson Jr., he's one of the few cornerbacks that Pro Football Focus graded at above a 90 coverage grade. Really like his game. I like his experience. I would be very happy if he got added into this cornerback rotation. And once again, all the time, I say this. Talent is not the question for me right now at Alabama at cornerback. That is not the question at all. I love the talent they have there. I think these young guys are going to prove they are every bit of 5 stars. I think that even the safeties are going to prove they're incredible. I just want numbers. We know football is a violent game. You take 1 or 2 injuries and you could be in, you could be in a real tough position off of 1 or 2 injuries. And so you need the depth. Love Anthony Johnson Jr. Love his game from Western Kentucky. I've watched a fair bit of his stuff. I think it'd be a nice addition. Kobe Minor, entering from Indiana. Name to keep an eye out on. As I understand it, Kobe Minor could be a name to watch. But I'll tell you a name that we haven't talked about a lot that I would really like. Javion Cole from San Diego State University. Really like his game. I think that he would be an asset. If I'm not mistaken, he stands 6'1", 185, so he has the length. He has the length that you want in terms of, your stature at cornerback, and that could be enticing. Now, as much as I love D'Angelo Pons, if you're asking me a negative, he's only 5'9". He plays like he's 6'3", but he's only 5'9". Doesn't hinder his ability to cover. Super athletic dude. Had a heck of a season at JMU and is rated as the number 2 cornerback in the nation on the transfer portal, ahead of the likes of a Kermani McClain. AJ Williams says, what about the kid from South Alabama? Yeah, you're talking about the linebacker. I believe he's visiting this weekend. We'll talk about that at a little bit later of a date in terms of me, AJ. I'll talk about that at a little bit later time. Mainly because linebacker, listen, I would love to get him. I think he's very talented. I really like his game. But what I will say is this. Linebacker, I think, is fine at Alabama. And I also think Jacobs, the linebacker from South Alabama, he's a guy that helps everybody learn. That's why I'd love to get him. But if you get him, you feel great about your linebacker play in 2025. But right now, my main focus is on cornerbacks. Did we miss on Ed Woods? Yes and no. Yes and no, Jarvis. If you offered and you didn't get him, we can call it a miss. So I'm not going to argue with you there. No doubt about it. Jarvis, what I was saying earlier, though, it's one of those things. Michigan State provides more linear playing time and more linear ability to retain playing time. Alabama, if you mess up and they put in one of those 5-star freshmen, they might not look back. At Michigan State, you don't have Zabian Brown, Zay Mincy, Jalen Mbakwe, and Jaleel Hurley breathing down your neck, waiting for their opportunity. So I would have loved to have him, though. Would have loved to have him. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But that's why we're talking about these new cornerback names. And we have a Michael Mack to add into the equation. But D'Angelo Pons from James Madison University, Anthony Johnson Jr. from Western Kentucky. Really love both of those guys. I would be very excited with those two additions. I like Kobe Minor as well. And then I really like Javion Cole. The additions that would make me really, really happy are Pons, Johnson, or Cole. I would love to, if we could get one of those. Darius Fountain says, Bama inexperienced defensive backs versus Georgia veteran wide receivers. Yeah, going to be a battle, man. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I mean, Georgia had those veteran wide receivers last year. Granted, Alabama had veteran defensive backs. But Bama dropped 5 interceptions in that game, Darius. That game was a game where Bama left so much meat on the bone. That game infuriates me even to this day. Because that could have been a rout. That could have been a good old-fashioned butt kicking. You dropped 5 interceptions. Oh, boy, that hurt. Oh, boy, that hurt. But listen, yeah, Georgia's going to be good. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. What game? Alabama versus Georgia in the SEC championship game. Great game, but Bama's defense dropped. And when I say dropped, I don't mean like, oh, they made a play on the ball and it was a really tough. If I'm being as objective as possible, 4 interceptions hit them cleanly in the hands and they just dropped it. Yeah. That game could have been a rout. Left a lot of meat on the bone. I think we're going to eat the meat. Listen, I hope so. I hope so. It's going to be a tough out. Like, I'm giving Darius a tough time, but I don't disagree with you, Darius. I love y'all's tight end room. I think that, goodness gracious, what's his name? Delp. Delp is very good. You guys have got some unbelievable tight end talent. No disagreement from me, and I really like the way Bobo employs the tight ends. I really liked the way Monken kind of guided your offense into a new era, and Bobo picked up where he left off. Ty, what about Amarian Cooper, the third? That was the starting cornerback at CU, 6'1", 180. He was a dog, followed him from the beginning. Prime spoke highly of him from the door. Hey, listen, if he can play ball, he can play ball, and we need people with experience that can play ball. That's where I'm at right now. Now, someone said, where is it? Someone said, I haven't seen us offer any of them, Ty. Why do you think that is? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, Hunter. I wish I did. I would. I don't know. I don't know. I certainly hope that they offer some of them. Certainly hope that they offer some of them, but I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, and I don't want to speculate. Do you think our this is the only thing I can think. Who? I don't know. I don't know who, Ash, but this is the only thing I can think, and I actually said this a few days ago, that it seemed to me that the staff was waiting on the big fish, that they had gotten some inclination that there was a big fish. Whether there is or isn't, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out within the next few days. But I have no idea. I have no idea. I still don't know what happened between when we played UGA and Michigan was like a different team in the Rose Bowl. Michigan was a real good defense, man. It pains me to admit it, but I finally went back and watched the all 22 of it. And great defense. Stop yelling at us. Come on, Darius. It's all love here. What I love about the whole Bama Georgia deal, Kirby was owned by Saban. Yeah, listen, Saban went out on top for sure in terms of dominating that one. I don't disagree, Brandon. I don't disagree, but I also like what Jalen Milroe said. Whenever, because Dwight earlier came in here. What was it, Dwight? Someone came in here. I thought it was Dwight, but I don't know. And was talking about the interview. And that would be a really interesting thing to go watch if you haven't. But Jalen Milroe was asked, like, do you think Michigan was cheating? And he said, doesn't matter. They won. I love that. I really like that. Wake Forest just had a DB into the portal. Wake Forest defensive back Deshaun Jones is into the transfer portal. Was a starter the last 2 years, posted 37 tackles and 3 interceptions. I like that. I like that. Poetic, my guy. Happy you're in here. Really like that. If Forest coach Richard Young in the secondary. No. But I love the sentiment, Adam. I love that. I'm sure they have a plan. I have no doubt. Dwight does ask, though, how can we offer players if we only have one available scholarship? Because you can figure out ways to work around scholarships. You can figure out a way to work around scholarships between gray shirts, and especially with the existence of NIL now. And I don't know this for sure. In desperate times, you must think outside the box. I love it. I love it. I love it so much, Adam. But Dwight, I would just, like I said, my opinion, I would imagine that you could work something around with scholarships. Portal heating up today. Yeah, no doubt. Ty, tell him until Kirby changes his offensive philosophy, they will struggle against Bama. Yeah, listen, the offense, it's interesting. It's interesting, Keyway, because the offense there, it's not like it's bad. It's not like it's a bad offense. It's a solid offense. Very pro style, very principled, very methodical. I call it like a factory offense, right? Where it's like it's made in a factory. And it's not bad. It's a solid offense. But against Saban, those factory style offense just they didn't move the needle. You had to be a high-powered, we're going to keep you on your heels offense. The problem is if you allow a Saban defense to remain on the front foot as opposed to the back foot, once again, Keyway, I don't know how long you've watched me. I'm big into combat sports. So a lot of my expressions are going to be from combat sports because that was my first love. If you allow Saban to stay on the front foot and keep pressuring, oh, you're going to have a bad time. You're going to have a real bad time. Now, not saying that you were going to have a good time even if you got Saban on the back foot. It was a great counter-punching defense, but in principle, you had to get Saban on the back foot. You had to keep them spread out. You had to be fast, no huddle. Do not allow Alabama to sub and continue pressure. Ty, I don't want to pour on the kid, but his stock has plummeted, speaks volumes in terms of Kamani McLean. No offers. I guess USF or UCF is his only options. Yeah, I wish the best for him. I hope he goes somewhere and realizes his potential, because one thing that I always think is tragic is unrecognized potential. I certainly wish the best for him. I hope wherever he goes, they develop him. Not as a football player. He has that ability. I hope they develop him as a man and as a human being. Because he's got all the ability you could want, man. All the ability in the world. So I'll certainly be hoping the best for him and his family. I hope he lands on his feet. I hope he does something great. Yeah, I mean, how can you not like Jalen, man? I mean, Adam is in rare form right now, Coach.
Why am I so red right now? Hold on. I'm extra red. Here we go. Hold up. What we got going on? Am I red on the screen?
Yeah. You look like Mr. Krabs.
Let me figure out what's going on. Hold on. Might be the lighting.
Right. We need to offer Antonio Alfano. Adam, you are in rare form right now.
Adam was on one. Adam is on one. He was on one last night too, man. Well, he wasn't really on one last night. He had I I did a surprise calling segment with the fam. It went crazy good too, man. It went crazy good. I think everybody enjoyed it. Coach Al, Adam. Who else called in? Cindy called in. I think we had one more. I can't remember.
Adam says true. Tennessee's offense is going to be very good. Yeah, that veer and shoot offense, it can be real tough to stop, especially based off of their pre-snap movement of misaligning defenses. They're going to get you in a certain look and then move out of it. And it's a great way to tell whether you're in man or zone. And yeah, that veer and shoot offense, it can be a pain in the neck, man. It can be a real pain, but it's super. Here's the thing with it, Adam, because everything has positives and negatives. If you don't have a receiver that can threaten a defense downfield, nor do you have a quarterback that you feel like can hit the downfield shot consistently, you're going to not be as effective in that veer and shoot. Ironically, Milroe would be phenomenal in a veer and shoot. Like, Milroe in a veer and shoot would be so darn dangerous because it principles itself on that long ball, and everything works off of being able to keep a defense on their back foot. Yeah, it's a really fun offense. I actually really like it. And it's not, and I could be wrong in this, but if I'm not mistaken, I don't think it's a true, like, in totality, I don't think it's a true veer and shoot, but it has enough aspects of the veer and shoot that it's like a play off of it. Really interesting offense. Love it.
So we all know the veer and shoot is about unbalanced, keeping unbalanced as far as play direction, not necessarily formation, but play direction. And so what these coaches are doing now to keep it from just strictly unbalanced play direction, they're using the shifts and the pre-snap motion to create unbalanced formations to get we used a lot of veer and shoot concepts when I was coaching to get bigger offensive lines or faster, not offensive line, defensive lines, or faster linebacker secondaries, get them flowing one way and taking our small window of chances opposite. You get what I'm saying? So your counters in that style, your counter look, your counter play action, your play action rollouts where you got your O-line, strong slamming right, and you're rolling left, right, to create your one-on-one, get your mismatches. So that's something that I think Kalen DeBoer is even installing with his style of offense and what he's bringing to Alabama for Jalen Milroe, because we see how accurate Jalen Milroe is on the run. I mean, that's something that was highlighted with a lot of the announcers and analysts last year when they will evaluate him. Why isn't Tommy Rees trying to move the pocket for this young man? His deep ball accuracy on the run is second to none in the nation. I mean, maybe Michael Penix was more accurate, of
Jaden Daniels was the only quarterback that was more accurate in the deep shots than Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, but that just goes to tell you, man, all of these quarterbacks got years of starting over Jalen Milroe, and you look at what he was able to do last year. Me and Coach Al talked about last night on the phone. It's like it's hard to believe that a lot of our fan base can't have that utmost confidence in his ability to continue to grow with actual coordinator that understands his skill set. So I think this is gonna be crazy, man. I think this is gonna be a crazy year for this offense. I think Kalen DeBoer might end up pulling more out of the bag than he plans to. You get what I'm saying? Because of how quick this team is adapting to what they're seeing. I mean, look at A-Day. You could look at Coach Mook. Oh yeah, Piano Man was definitely my other caller. I forgot, Mr. Wendell. But if you look at it from A-Day, just the style of play from A-Day, you can see where Milroe has gotten so much confidence in that pocket, man, and just stepping up with his eyes downfield. It didn't matter if he completed the pass or not to me at that point. Those small things, but the moving the pocket for him. He's just so comfortable in that. He's so comfortable. So you look at what Josh Heupel does for his quarterbacks. You look at what Steve Sarkisian does, Lane Kiffin, even the coordinator out at Texas Tech. I like how they put their quarterbacks in positions to run their semi-air raid style. and how they offset it with their run game. So I just don't see how we can't, as a fan base, can't, see like the silver lining of how great this offense is going to be year one under Coach DeBoer and Coach Sheridan.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's one of those things where it's like just the first time he's had a quarterback coach. It's like great.
That part.
The last time Bama had quarterback developers near the level of what they have now is that 2020 season when AJ Milwee and Steve Sarkisian were on staff. Milwee's at Texas right now, and look at what Arch looked like. Look what Trey Wisner looked like in that spring game. Like, Texas has got 3 quarterbacks right now that, I mean, Arch and Trey Wisner looked good. Real good in that spring game.
This dude there. Darius, you on one this morning? Darius, how you gonna tell Bama what? You just came out the closet 4 days ago about being a Bama fan. You just came out publicly admitting that you are a Georgia grown child or whatever, grown man now, and you are now a Bama fan. You have admitted to being a bandwagon fan. We've accepted you. They'll come in here trying to give us no in-depth analysis, and you ain't been doing your homework. Don't be coming in here doing that. We don't play that. That's not how we conduct ourselves over here, okay? Okay. What's up, though, man?
Oh, you know. OG Goat says, I think we just clicked the same comment. He says, we're not worried about his development. We're worried about if he can read his... That's a part of the development.
Exactly. So please don't come. OG Goat, don't get on the list, bro. Don't get on the list. Do not get on the list. I told you I got a list. Adam just got off the list. Adam, tell him that list ain't a good one, because I will key your comments and everything you say. I'm going to find something wrong with it, and you're not going to like me. So, but nah, that's part of the process. And like I said, we talked about this yesterday, Ty. Kalen DeBoer is going to call plays to where it forces him to make those reads in the areas he should be. And the thing with Miro, you're not dealing with a dumb quarterback.
No.
Very smart man. You know what I'm saying?
He wants to learn.
He's smart, though. It's like you can't sit here and convince me that Miro isn't trying to, isn't growing. Just watch the screen game again. Watch the eyes. Watch the hit. It was one play. Miro, as a matter of fact, the pass to Bernard. He didn't stare that route down. He's looking at the high safety. He has his one-on-one with the Husky. He's staring at the high safety to keep the high safety in the middle of the field. And guess what? Now he's able to throw that I think it was a crosser to Bernard, like a little crosser, a little deep crosser, almost like a post, but it's more of a crosser, not necessarily a post. But the reason he has space and time to do that is because he's not staring it down and watching it go across. Now the safety is looking at his eyes. What is he looking at? That's what got Miro in a lot of close calls last year. But his arm talent was able to make a lot of those passes. Jermaine Burton, go look at some of the passes. The pick he threw when he tried to hit Jermaine Burton on the out against Texas. Look at how he stared it down. It was not a hard read. That was not a hard read. You stared that down. And Jermaine Burton would have been open if you looking down the middle of the field. You got the confidence or the coaching to tell you, hey, keep that safety in the middle of the field or keep that corner at bay by staring down the middle of the field. Let your wide receiver operate in a blind spot. And the play, and I think these are the small things that's being taught to Jalen Miro to help him develop. Not just him, but Ty Simpson is getting better at it. Dylan Lonergan showed it in the spring game. Austin Mack, even though he didn't have, the front, I feel like he has a great understanding of what this offense entails and what, like, if I call a play, 32 waggle, X-ray, K concept, flag, whatever, on one, boom. Just by knowing what the play is, understanding what the play is, I don't have to go out there. Only thing I have to do after we break the huddle, I need to establish my protection. I need to identify key this guy if it's the safety on this play because we're going deep, or if it's the middle linebacker because we need an intermediate pass game. If they're crowding the line, if they're giving space to where I can audible to my run check, that's what I'm worried about coming to the line. Not, man, what's X running, what's Y running, what's Z running.
And if I may, to defend Milroe even further, because you're right, like that pick. But Sandman, I'm really glad you're in here because for the life of me, and it's killing me. Who was y'all's nickel corner last year? Sandman for Texas. Please give me the name. Who was your nickel corner? because it was probably my favorite defensive back y'all had, not named Manny Muhammad, but please drop the name of your nickel corner in chat, because Jade Barron, thank you so much.
Yeah, Barron.
That dude made such an elite play. And I don't know if it was the same interception, but the other interception Milroe threw, I was less mad at Milroe for it, and I was more like, holy
that was a play.
hell.
You get what I'm saying? Because if you pay attention, Milroe didn't deliver that pass the same way he delivered the first pick. He did what he was supposed to do on that one. That was a depth issue from the wide receiver, and Barron just had the beautiful break on the ball, man. And
he came off of his guy to go to someone else. I mean, it was beautiful. Jade Barron's a dog. I love Jade Barron.
Jade Barron, is he a sophomore or what?
He's back.
He's
they got Manny Muhammad and Jade Barron in that secondary. Manny Muhammad's a dog too.
Yeah, and Texas is going to surprise a lot of teams in the SEC this year. I just want to see them get through a gauntlet. They need to get through a gauntlet stretch before I sign off on it. Same with Oklahoma. Both teams talented. I'm not big on Oklahoma's defense. I do like what Venables is doing in recruiting, and the pieces he's putting on that defense. And you've seen the improvement. I think that they might be another year out, Ty. Maybe.
I think they're another year out.
Not There's even a full year, like 8, maybe week 8 when it's kind of the writings on the wall of what your season's going to be. Week 8, we'll see their defense start to click, like for real, and they'll finish the season strong and carry that over to the next season. So, yeah, a year out. We'll say a year.
They have, and I actually agree with you, Sam, man, and that's why I say 1 year out, because I like the depth they have at secondary. Their linebackers, man, they've got some dudes. Samuel Omosigo out there, Kip Lewis. I really love his game. Between Samuel Omosigo and Kip Lewis, love those two players. They're going to be fantastic. But their interior defensive line, they have names. They just don't have the number they would like. And that's exactly why I say next year, I think OU is going to be in a really good position. But in fairness to OU, they came from a coach that didn't even know how to spell defense. No offense to Lincoln Riley, but let's be honest here. Like, they didn't give any care about defense. But even when I live in Oklahoma, it sucks. I think they'll win more than one game, but I certainly think next year's the year where if you're like, oh, is Oklahoma going to be able to make some moves? I think it's next year. I think they're going to surprise people, though.
Hey, Brandon Wilkins, the only thing is with Juju, if Juju doesn't go ahead and get invested in his next move as far as system, this staff right here, there are so many, and I'm not taking nothing away. Juju, to me, one of the top QBs in this class.
No doubt.
But there are so many other Jujus in this class that aren't getting any type of that. Russell, Griffin, Amari Griffin out of Clay Chalkville here in state in Alabama. Ty, I'm gonna send you Amari Griffin. He's a 3-star right now. When you turn his film on, put him in a number. I think Juju wears number 7 or number 5 at Carrollton. Whatever number. Put that number on him in a Carrollton jersey. You don't see a difference, bro. There's no separation. No separation at all. Arm talent, throwing on the move. I mean, literally. And this young man, same size, same build, same features. Alabama is really high on this Amari Griffin kid, and he isn't getting a lot of publicity. But I'm telling you, do not be surprised at the middle of the fall, you start hearing his name, Amari Griffin. I told y'all this about, well, not you all, but you was on the show when I said it. We was on the fellas, the old Travis Smith. You remember when I said Travis Smith a year and a half ago, and people were like, who? And now who's one of the top wide receivers everybody's after? Travis Smith Jr. It's like I'm telling you, this Amari Griffin kid, he will be a highly sought after. And I saw Ebony in the chat, Noah's mom. What's up, Ebony, my sister? Much love to you. Said she gonna be here Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, we definitely linking up. That's whenever my sister in town, y'all already know it's up.
The quarterback I want, if it's not Juju, and you know what, Smook, I'm always honest in this. I'm always honest that I root for the Texas guys that go to Bama. I'm in Texas. I'm in the DFW.
Russell.
So I've watched Duncanville play, and that cat can ball. And
can
furthermore,
go and fast.
he's playing at the highest level of high school football. I'm not going to say it's the best conference because I think that Trinity
League,
I think that Trinity League out there in California might have it beat, but they can also recruit. I mean, let's be honest, they're recruiting in Texas too, but they can't freely recruit, right? Like they can't just out in the open do it. It's much different when you can do that. But this cat plays for Duncanville. He knows what big games are. He was just in Jerry's World playing in the state championship. I want Russell so darn bad.
Listen, you and me both. I feel like guys like Russell and Griffin, those are the guys. Even Russell's gonna get that hype. He's gonna end up being mess around. Because I want to say, was that article about him being the number one player in the state of Texas this year? Didn't he just get that tag?
I don't believe he's the number one player in the state of Texas because Texas is absolutely
Texas. Yeah, Texas is Texas. But
slam packed. But he's one of the top ones.
Turn the film on. And he's fast. Y'all see how I had to say that? Fast. They 4x1 team just ran a 44.5 or something like that, 43 something.
Bro, a few years ago, this is whenever Sandman helped me out. It's the running back that was with Duncanville, Caden Durham. Kid's now going to LSU. He ran, I believe, a 10.25. And if you didn't run in that region, if you didn't run a 10.36, you didn't qualify for state. That's how track is down here. You better be a sub 10.4 if you're going to qualify for state. These dudes are ridiculously fast. It's ridiculous.
OG,
it's wild.
I'm going to SEC Media Day this July. I'll be in Dallas. That's the time when me and Ty, we're going to be supposed to be linking up when I come down that way. And best believe we're going to be doing something content-wise, football coverage-wise, whether it's SEC Media Day, working it some type of way, live, in person. God's really been blessing, you know. I tell you this, like, we have opportunities right now to where, like, we could be basically covering just about anything we want to cover right now because of the connections being made. So I will be at SEC Media Day, though. And, it's going to be – I've seen Russell's film. He's a beast. I'm telling y'all, man, when I saw that Alabama offered, did we offer? We offered, right? Brody need to wake up.
Yeah. So they evaluated Russell, and that day or the next day, they were like, yeah, we need to offer him. He is a monster. Love his game.
He's coming back to camp, too. He's coming back to camp at Bama. And Griffin. So
he already has a committable offer.
So it's one of those things, man. You're seeing value being exposed by this coaching staff. Nobody was talking about Russell a month ago. Nobody was talking about it. I mean, we talked about him. Ty, we talked about some of the quarterbacks out of the state of Texas, but nobody was talking about him. But all of a sudden, once he gets a offer, now, he's great. No, we've been telling y'all. It's so much talent. I'm telling y'all. That's why I had to go ahead and put Amari Griffin name out there. When y'all see it, when y'all hear it, when he comes to camp, I think camp is in June for Bama. I think the skills camp is in June, I believe, eval camp. So I guarantee it's going to be Bama might take two quarterbacks in this 25 class. They might take two quarterbacks. Looking at the prospects of possibly losing Dylan Lonergan, Austin Mack, maybe have to compete to get a spot, may not be the guy in his third year as a college student, right? Next year will be his third season as a college student. So not this following season, not this coming up season, but next season, 25 season will be his third year. And he'll be 19 going on his third year? That's crazy. Yeah, 19? That's going to be crazy. But don't be surprised if Bama takes two quarterbacks in this class. And like I said, I would love to have Juju. I'm not a hype man, though. I'm all about quality. I'm all about growth, progression. Juju, to me, he's already up there. You got guys that's like right, maybe a half step, if not right there with him. When you talk about grading them across the board, what they do mechanic-wise, how the arm talent, speed, they're right there with them. And you can tell that they have so much more room to grow. And you put him with a guy like Kalen DeBoer, Nick Sheridan, give him a passing game coordinator like Jamarcus Shepard, give him an offensive line coach who understands run scheme and how to play off of that from the quarterback position, and Coach Cap. You get a guy like Russell or Griffin on your roster and have a year and a half, 2 years with them. You're talking about some elite talent being developed and not being rushed to be on the field. You still got Ty Simpson to go and be the next Heisman contending quarterback at Alabama. This is shaping up. This staff is opening my eyes with how they're moving. You know, with losses and gains, it's opening my eyes of how this new age of college football is actually helping me integrate and become more comfortable with how this new age of recruiting, transfer portal, all of this stuff is shaping up because the staff, man, the staff handling probably to the best you could expect from any staff just coming in. Not years of relationships, you get what I'm saying, Ty? It's like, what can't they handle? When do we get to see what they can't handle, right?
They're still in their infancy. I mean, they haven't been here 6 months. So yeah, I'm very excited. OG says, could you read my last post? Let me find it, OG. For sure. I'm ready to see it, man. I love watching y'all every morning. I'm going to Auburn University this fall and trying to become a coach. Well, we won't hold it against you. Just listening to y'all helps me out a lot. Hey, good luck, my man.
OG, did you want us to read that post because you wanted us to know that you going to the Cal College? Because if that's the case, I'm about to get on you, dude. You not even supposed to, you could have said, I'm going to college I want to be a coach. You ain't have to tell us where. You get what I'm saying? Because now I'm just playing. I hope you able to do that, man. If I had an opportunity, I don't care where it's at, you know, any school but that school. But if that was an opportunity for me to go and start my analyst career and, you know, grow into being a coach, college coach, whatever, I would take the opportunity. So I commend you, man. Push towards your goals, your dreams. That's all we doing over here. You know, we got goals we trying to accomplish doing this. And the fact that you all enjoy this, that's the biggest satisfaction of this. I think I can speak for Ty and the rest of the panel, knowing that we're giving you something that you want to hear, that you want to see, that you want to debate with, that you appreciate, you know. So y'all pay these phone bills, these high phone bills to listen to us. Cool. Even more when you contribute, when you become a fan funder, which you can do if you click the link at the top of the chat.
Is this the conversation you wanted to have, JT? Because I certainly don't think that you're misplaced. Like, optics is a big thing. The court of public opinion is a big thing. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go back on this. I wanted Ed Woods. I think that Michigan State just got a really, really, really solid player. He has experience. He's got 1 year of eligibility remaining. He's not scared to step up against the run. And Lord knows in the Big Ten, you're going to face plenty of rushing attacks, right? And he has proved time and time again, if you're going to run on the outside, I'm going to try and take your head off. I love that about him. But I go back to this. Michigan State is in a position to where they don't have a Jaleel Hurley, a Zabian Brown, a Zay Mincy, a Jalen Mbakwe, that if you mess up, and remember, freshmen are going to have much longer leashes than is a fifth-year senior. You know what I mean? Well, I don't know if he's a fifth-year senior. I shouldn't have said that. I just know he has 1 year of eligibility remaining. I believe he's a fourth year, but I don't know. I shouldn't have said that. I apologize if I'm wrong there. Point remains, though, right? Whether he is a fifth-year senior or just a senior, point remains, you don't have the leash that a freshman has. Because if I'm a coach, yeah, I might be yelling at the freshman, but whenever the defensive coordinator is telling the secondary coach, hey, do we need to switch him out? Me as the secondary coach would be like, nah, let him learn. Let him learn. You know what I mean? Like, we just gotta let him learn in the fire. That's how you got to do this. With a senior, you're not like, let him learn in the fire.
You can't. Because at that point, you kind of figure out who they are. At that point, Christian Story ran into that last year. The staff knew what Christian Story brought to the table. That's why he was basically the third option at safety, which bothered me. Like, Christian Story came in and had one shaky game, and it's expected. You haven't seen him on the field in 3 years, battling injuries, not getting any real playing time. Then the second time he touches the field, after getting his feet wet in a meaningful game and playing some meaningful playing time, you saw the adjustments. You saw the experience show up now, the understanding, the comfortability of even the touchdown he gave up. I want to say it was against he went for a pick. He went aggressive on a pick. I think it was against Ole Miss. because that was the game that Key got hurt. I think it was the Ole Miss game. He went for a pick aggressively and missed on it. But it wasn't a bad gamble. It was literally an inch. And you got to think, man, 6 more reps, maybe his legs are there. Maybe his timing is there with 6 more reps of meaningful playing time. Shout out to my guy, OG the GOAT, just became a member of the channel, man. Much love to you, my guy. We appreciate you for supporting us, man. We appreciate everything that you're doing, coming in. And y'all, listen, I have to do this every time I see it. I've been seeing a lot of comments, and I can't highlight all of them. But I will say this: everybody that's taking time out of your day right now to say thanks to me, Ty, Sean, Jance, Kyle, T, the whole team. I really appreciate it, y'all. Today has been a great morning. I don't know what it is. I think when I'm gonna start drinking coffee every day. I dialed it back last week, but when I wake up and I make coffee, it seems like the coffee starts the positive aroma and positive things happen. So I'm just excited to be. I'm especially excited to be here. But back to the conversation, man, with the depth and this comment right here, guarantees. I'm not giving any players any guarantee. They have to earn it. I mean, if you can stand on those guns, if you can really hold to that, and that's part of your makeup as a university, and you still able to bring in quality talent, that's a testament that there's still hope for college football. That not all college football players. Some of these guys coming in, they know they're gonna have to come in and earn it. I wouldn't expect a JMU guy to come in thinking that he's gonna start. You know what I'm saying?
I really like Pawns too, and I the 3 I really like right now, Coach, is D'Angelo Pawns, Anthony Johnson Jr., Pawns from JMU, Anthony Johnson Jr. from Western Kentucky, and Javion Cole from SDSU. I like
Javion Cole. But I remember I was looking at the portal, all the availabilities, and Cole came. He popped out one size. He's typical DB, and I can't even say that no more because we're talking Saban era, but. You look at what Womack likes to recruit, what Maurice Longquist likes to recruit, anatomical makeup, build, prototypical, what they want to see. But he's also a guy that's still got a lot of growing to do. So you bring him in to compete with those freshmen who have a spring on them, have a little bit of a head start on them. You bring them in to compete and push. It's like you're leveling the playing field as far as competition. As into going to get a guy who has the film, has the experience, and wants to come in. And this staff is confident in this secondary. They're confident in all of these guys and their abilities. It's just a lack of depth, and also they're young. So how do we balance that out? You try to go and get a big name. Does this big name want to come in and still compete for these guys that we're already confident in? That's a hard thing to ask. Somebody that's proven on another team. But man, my thing is to counter that, Ty. If you're proven on another team, why are you in the portal anyways? You get what I'm saying? That's where my, I don't like. I'm not 100% for this portal thing, right? With the way guys are moving. So my thing is, why exactly are you in the portal? Why are you at Oregon? Why are you at Texas? Why are you at these places entering the portal if you were the guy? What's happening?
Well, I can tell you at Texas what's happening.
Tell me, bro.
And listen, you know me. I'm really excited for Sark. I have always rooted for Sark at Texas, hoping they'd get back on track. They don't like the DB coach. And no, I'm not joking. It's the same thing a few years back. Why Evan Stewart decommitted? Because they had a wide receiver coach that was doing more harm than good. Evan Stewart decommitted, and the wide receiver coach said some things to him that you probably shouldn't have said. He's no longer there.
Yeah.
Well, same thing with the DB coach now.
Same thing, and we won't admit it. Well, the fans won't admit it, but I'll tell you straight up, Coleman Wiggins was not one of the best hires we ever had as a wide receiver coach. I'm going to tell you right now, Coach Saban and his lineage and his reputation kept a lot of those wide receivers on his roster. They kept a lot of his wide receivers committed to the University of Alabama because Wiggins was not the developer, man. He was not the developer. And it was very prevalent this last season.
Oh,
very prevalent. Very prevalent. It was very prevalent. When you didn't have a polished quarterback to be the guy, it showed. You couldn't teach. I see the change in how these wide receivers are running their routes. Their end cuts are so aggressive now because they trust the technique being taught. They trust the scheme. They trust what's being shown to them. I haven't seen our wide receiver group block this aggressively and get this active and physical in the run game since the four horsemen with Waddle, Smitty, Judy, and Ruggs. Like those guys, they would get active. Slade Bolden was part of that little crew. Like they were great run blockers, downfield run blockers. So you look at the 8A game, man. Go look at when what's his name was tied up. They was going at it. You would have thought this was a real game. Kobe Prentice and I think it wasn't Red. It wasn't Red. It might have been Xavier Brown. Kobe Prentice and Xavier Brown, like in each other grill, man. During the play, then the whistle pop, they slap each other on the butt and go about the next play. But like these guys are out there playing for their coaches. We haven't had that across the board in a while. I think that's a big difference for this team too.
Did you ever see that stat where 12 of the 13 guys Holloman Wiggins recruited entered in the transfer portal?
Yep. Think about this. Javon Baker, Trayshawn Holden, Ja'Cory Brooks,
and Ajayi Hall.
Ajayi Hall, Aaron Anderson,
Tyrell Shavers,
Christian Leary, Shavers. I mean, like all of these dudes, bro, literally leave Alabama and they go to these different spots and they're not necessarily the key guys, but they're role players and they're way more efficient than they were at Alabama. Why? Because personnel management is key in today's college football game. You don't have to be a starter. I just want my reps, coach. I want 12 to 15 snaps a game as a true freshman. You can't find me 12 to 15 snaps and you trying to tell me I was your number one recruit? You banked on me coming here to boost and I can't get 12 to 15 snaps? You don't have a good balance of formation or rotation to get me 12 to 15 snaps? Come on now. I mean, not every game, but the big games, especially if the guy in front of me is struggling.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for me to hop out of here. But before I go, I will say this. My phone is absolutely blowing up, not because of any football news, because Kendrick just dropped his response to Drake.
Uh-oh.
And I have a group chat, and they are at each other's neck. And, they are absolutely just going at each other. So I'm going to go listen to this. I'm going to chime in on this group chat, pile on, and we're going to have some fun. Until next time, I will see you all tomorrow. Hopefully, we have some, interesting transfer portal news to talk about. Better news than we have today. Hopefully. We'll see. Goodness knows, right? Until then, Coach, as always, man, I know you're going to have a great segment. I'll be listening in the background. Always a great time to get to sit here, have this interaction with you. I really look forward to it. Everybody in the Undefeated, appreciate you. And as always, roll Tide.
Roll Tide, my boy. Appreciate you, Ty. Hey, shout out to my guy, Ty Hayes, man. Always doing a great job over here. Y'all make sure y'all go check out his channel, Around the Table Sports. Around the Table Sports. That's there here on YouTube. Y'all go subscribe to my boy. I think he about 9, almost 10K in. Try to get him to that big number. We're trying to grow all the channels. All the channels, we're trying to grow them. Continue to support everybody. I appreciate y'all for pulling up and hanging out today, y'all. Today, I'm just going to talk with y'all because tonight we may have 2 recruits on tonight. If not, y'all know what's coming again. And last night was a great success. I appreciate y'all supporting that and giving some good reports. I heard y'all was talking about it in the chat earlier, so I appreciate that. Doing a great job, Coach Smook. Hey, my brother, what's good, Ronnie? Shouts out to everybody. Y'all go ahead and run it up. Run up the Coach Smook emotes. Let's get some roll call in, man. I ain't do one yesterday. I got excited. Y'all had me talking good football. Let's talk let me give y'all some love, man. Let me give y'all some love so we could jump into this. I feel better. I'm in my mic again, bro. I got my mic up. I got my setup. I feel like I'm back in business. Like, I don't know if y'all can tell, this energy is there. It's way better than working off a little laptop. So let's get some shots out. Let's get some shout outs going. Let's stop all conversations and then let me recognize y'all. Shout out to my sister Marquita for being in the building. What's good? Jimmy Brown is in the building. Shane B is in the building. DR334, my brother, what's good? Brandon Wilkins is in the building. Let's go. Let's go. Nicole, my sister, holding it down for the light skins of the world, holding it down. Adam, my frenemy, my arch frenemy. You know what I'm saying? This man, great phone call yesterday, Al. Item. I clipped it. I downloaded it. I should be posting it, being able to post it here sometime today. I think we had a great conversation. All of us did. All the callers had a great conversation. I definitely want to clip yours though. That was 2 great questions to pop my first call segment off with, man. And I went there and I got long-winded. Y'all know how I get when I get to talk about certain things, but I think y'all enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, having that conversation. Davin is in the building. Larry Large is in the building. My brother, Larry Large. I need some more reality versus reaches ASAP. If you don't send them to me, I'm gonna have to come and get you, bro. I'm gonna have to come and get you. I need some reality versus reaches. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy Piano Man is in the building. K Spray is in the building. Sandman, our resident Texas fan, showing his Texas pride. He done went crazy with the emojis. Sandman, I got a question. How many times did you practice doing this? Because the pattern is very lovely. I'm not gonna lie. It looks like an arts and craft project. But shouts out to you, my boy. Jarvis Mitchell is in the chat. My sister Ebony, Miss Noah's mom, is in the chat. That's your name, Ebony. Noah's mom. Noah's mom is in the chat. Al Sanders is in the chat. My OG. That's my big brother, man. My uncle. I don't even know what to call him. Uncle, big brother, whatever. That's my OG right there. When it comes to this coaching stuff, that's my dude. That's my dude. Roll Tyro from Summerville, Alabama. My guy Jerry Black is in the chat. Jerry, go ahead and pick up that fan funder tag, man. We want you to join the team, baby. Antoine is in the chat, my brother. What's good, man? Ronald Thompson's out there. Alexa, Steven Angle, how you doing today? King Family Reacts, my brother. King, I ain't did no push-ups in 8 hours. I gotta get big. I gotta get swole like you, my boy. William Chun is in the chat. Let's go. Let's go, Cynthia. Great talking to you last night, Cynthia. Walt Albright is in the chat, baby. Maddie P, what's good, my boy? Let's go. Let's go. Bama Fan 95 is in here. Yes, sir. Moon Rocker, that's my dude. So we got to calm down slightly with the light skins back. Listening. Nah, bro. Nah. Let me tell you, we got to hold it down, bro. We got to hold it down because y'all out here trying to take us out. Y'all trying to turn us into dinosaurs. We is here, man. We is here. We is here. Shout out to Hot Like Pew 94. Appreciate you for pulling up. Marshall Turner from Jacksonville. Appreciate you for pulling up. Thank you so much. Man, everybody that's here, appreciate y'all. And before we get started, OG to go, again, welcome to the team, man. Appreciate you for becoming a fan funder. Thank you for showing up, showing it. Look, Sam, man, you already know how we do, man. We got to hold it down, man. Appreciate y'all for showing up. But before we get into it today, man, y'all know what I got to do. I got to show some love to the sponsors. We got to pay some bills. Going to run this commercial. And then after the commercial, we just going to get into some chat talk today. Get back to the conversations, all the conversations. We talking portal news. We talking, we're not gonna hark on too much transfers out of here. We want to talk about what we have here, what we got coming in, and kind of shift the narrative a little bit, and get on to the next phase of what we got going on. No disrespect to anybody that left. Whatever decision your decision was, more power to you. We appreciate what you contributed to Bama Nation for your time being here, but it's time to move on. I'm ready to move on, and I know the rest of you all are. So with that being said, Kyle, take it away.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Residence in Ocean City, Maryland. Guests can book at residenceinOC.com. Use the promo code LPR for special Bama football pricing, up to 20% off. Also, go to therogueshop.com. Use the promo code BAMA. You get legal CBD. For me, personally, I like the topical oil. You know how intense my workouts are, right? So I like the topical oil. I like to rub that on my back, whatever, after those cinder blocks. So go to their website, cruise down, look through their website, and definitely check out rogueshop.com. And like I said, I like the topical. Again, the promo code is BAMA. Also, think about becoming a fan funder right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Become a part of the Undefeated as low as $2.99 a month. That's 10 cents a day. How do you do this? Make sure you're logged into your account. This is on a computer. You can also do this on your phone and look for the tab that says membership. Once you click membership, you can see different options. You can see an upgrade button right there to the right if you want to go through the different levels. We have fan funder videos from the staff right here at Bama Football on YouTube. Very easy to navigate. Let us know if you have questions inside the comment box when trying to upgrade or renew your fan funder membership right here on Bama Football on YouTube. And of course, if you want to rock that undefeated gear, check out our merch store located at the bottom of the videos. We appreciate Patriot Life, Cynthia, Antoine, Caitlin, and to everybody else that supports us right here on Bama Football on YouTube.
Yes, sir. Y'all know I was back here crying. Y'all is going crazy again with the comments, rub it on my back or whatever. I seen the legal CBD. The legal CBD. Y'all, I love it, man. I love the energy y'all bring every day. Now let's jump into the conversation, y'all. I'm gonna pull this graphic back up. There is no call-in, so don't worry about the call-in number. There's no call-in segment right now. I think we've already reached our super chat goal. Let me do a quick add it up. 20. Now we're a little short. We about 75 short. So I ain't gonna beg for no money. If y'all feel led to give or to support the channel monetarily, don't hesitate to hit that super chat link. Make sure you put a comment with your super chat. Make sure you want your voices being heard. You all know how it works, man. I got a new energy today, y'all. I just feel good. I feel like we in a special place right now with what we're doing. And I'm excited. So y'all continue to support the channel and we're going to keep growing. So looking at this list of topics, man, something that I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about Woodyard in the portal. Cameron Howard, you know, that's a good ad, being that we lost Peyton Woodyard. We lose one, we gain one. We gain one, we lose one, you know. I saw a question in the chat earlier. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see. Oh, shout out to my guy Jordan Campbell, man. I feel you, my guy. I feel you. How these kids are cut different. But let's look at it from this point of view too. The college football game, the NCAA, whoever, they've made it to where this is available for them. If this was made available 20 years ago, I guarantee you, I know for a fact, I'm 100% sure there are current players who played at the University of Alabama that ended up playing 3 or 4 years and had to wait till that 4th year. If they had the opportunity to go somewhere and not have to sit out a year, they would have left too. They would have looked for opportunities. If they had the opportunity to go somewhere and they were able to get $4,000 extra a week or something like that to send back home to take care of family, they would have done it. And so we can't really fault these kids, man. My guy Brandon Wilkins with the 199 super chat said, Smook, if we get Russell, will we get his wide receivers? Brandon Wilkins, who's the wide receiver you talking about? And you talking about Russell, the kid out of Texas, out of Duncanville, right? The QB. Which wide receiver? Brandon Wilkins, appreciate you for the 199 super chat though. Serious question. What happens if you Oh, sad man. Oh man, I miss you, my dog. I miss you, man. Oh man. Oh bro, I'm glad you're back, man. You are that Texas fan that I love. Y'all's a trip, man. Might pick you up a shirt. Pick you up a shirt from what? The Undefeated? Hey, I encourage it, man. Support, man. Support. We appreciate you, for real. More Duncanville. I'm gonna have to check them out. And I think I know who you're talking about. 6'2", 140. I mean, not 140. 6'2", 175 kid. Go up and get it. Mr. Go Up and Get It. Is that who you talking about? Yeah. Mr. Go Up and Get It. That's why I call him. Yeah. He's solid. I didn't see your question, Stephen. Which question? Well, Ed Woods coming in. That's big. Elijah Pritchett. I don't want to talk about no negative stuff today, y'all. Grant Nelson coming back. We'll talk basketball towards the end. And the center from Kentucky. You know, we talked about that last week. Alabama basketball get a big man. I think we really put ourselves in a different position. Yeah. I'm telling you. He and that's what I'm saying. It won't be hard to flip that. Brandon, appreciate that 199 super chat. And listen, Brandon, I don't want you to feel like you have to super chat all your comments, bro. But I appreciate it. I don't want you to feel like you have to do that for me to see it. I try my best. You see, what I'm doing is I'm focusing on learning how to read these comments as they come, so I can kind of stay, quick. That's why I'm trying to give my delivery on my takes and stuff. Pick that up too, and we're gonna keep riding. LSU, yeah, he's definitely an LSU commit. That's not a hard flip though for us. Not for Jamarcus Shepard, not for this offensive style, not for the weapons that surround it. Now, flipping wide receivers might be a little bit hard because you look at the room. This room is not. Come on now, this room right now is probably one of the top. You got to be top 5, top 3 in the nation. Ohio State got Jeremiah Smith, I think his name is, but even that room outside of him, you don't really know what you're getting from everybody else. Texas got a solid room too. But I'm hearing Bonds has got a case of the dropsies. It's a few of them with a case of the dropsies. Jonte Cook also. Oregon, I think they got Evan Stewart up there. That kind of bolstered up their wide receiver room. But outside of that, Georgia might have some guys. They got some secret underliers that I think we're going to find out who they are this season. Appreciate the 199 super chat. It's about the support, bro. Best channel on YouTube. Hey, that's my little dance. That's my little celebration dance, bro. I appreciate you for the 199 super chat. My boy really running it up right now. Who gonna catch up? Our wide receiver room is crazy. Let's talk about our wide receiver room. Let me go ahead and pull this up. I ain't gonna pull it up. So I got the alpha roster right here, the 8A roster by position, and I'm gonna just name off. So if we could focus our energy to wide receiver room talk, right? And we'll talk portal. Glenn, I see your comment. I just started. I'm gonna acknowledge this comment next after we talk wide receivers. All right. Do you think we will get anyone else in the portal? We'll talk about that here after we talk about wide receivers. Appreciate you for being here again. Georgia ain't nothing without. We'll talk about that too. Wide receivers. Let's talk about it. You got Cole Adams, Jeremy Bernard. You got and I'm talking scholarship guys right now. Jaron Hamilton. You got Bubba Hampton. You got Emmanuel Henderson. You got Kendrick Law. You got Caleb Odom. You got Kobe Prentice. Right? That's the wide receiver room right now. We don't even have Amari Jefferson on this roster yet. We don't have Rico Scott on this roster yet. We don't have the Ryan Williams on this roster yet. Right? And you look at that talent right now, you got a couple guys that's running like 10 4s, 10 5s in the 100 meters. You got a couple 4-4 guys in that room that really can go, that can really stretch the field. You got guys who can go up and get it, and Caleb Odom and my guy, I hate that he's hurt right now, Jalen Hill can go up and get it. You got breeds of running back / wide receivers in Kendrick Law and Jeremy Bernard and Bubba Hampton and Emmanuel Henderson, running backs that are playing wide receiver that move like wide receivers, but when they get the ball in their hands, they like running backs. You look at a guy like Cole Adams, a route technician, Kobe Prentice, route technician. Like, we have such a variety of players currently on the roster, and you got young talent like Ryan Williams coming in. We all know Ryan Williams is going to be great. Is he going to have an opportunity to be the guy this first year? I don't think so. Maybe surge towards the end of the year and become an intricate part, but be the guy, that's a good thing for us. Rico Scott, another guy that can go up and climb the ladder on you. Can climb the ladder, can press the cushion and climb the ladder on you. Has a crazy deceptive stride. Hands, catch radius is out this world. Amari Jefferson, put him in the slot, put him at the Z, put him in the backfield. Most of them out of the backfield. Like, Amari Jefferson is another guy, another technician. Like, this wide receiver room will continue to grow. And you look at the prospects that we already have committed in the 25 class, Derek Smith, Zamir Smith. Like, these guys are dogs, man. LaShiere Brooks, another dog. Like, this wide receiver room, I don't see how, unless you're the 6th or 7th commit in this class, or 6th or 7th wide receiver commit in this class, I don't see how you don't look at this group and be like, man, us 4 in the field at the same time, or a combination of us 4, a combination of 4 of us 12 on the field at the same time. That's something to look forward to. And you see what happened for Smitty, Ruggs, Judy, and Waddle, off because they looked at each other and was like, man, I don't have to be the guy. If you guard him, if you guard me, you can't guard him. Once you see him, you can't guard me no more. Like, when you have that many options on the field, it just kind of just opens up what you can do with your wide receiver room. So, let me see. Our wide receiver room is crazy. What's y'all take on our wide receivers? Could you imagine Williams, Moore, and Ty Simpson next? Facts. Mac Jones with Smitty, Waddle type stuff. But the thing is, Brandon, I'm thinking about Ty Simpson with possibly Cole Adams being your senior guy, one to play his last year to solidify some draft stock. Because I honestly think Kobe Prentice, Kendrick Law, those two are probably going to be gone after this year, to the league. They're going to be, if not first round, early second round guys. And like me and Ty was talking about yesterday, second round is not bad. Second round is not. I can't wait to see the freshmen who aren't here yet. Me too, man. Ryan Williams, Rico Scott, Amari Jefferson. I don't know if y'all paid attention to Bubba Hampton and Caleb Odom's impact in the spring game, but those guys they catch the eyes of the defense. They don't just get to roam free because they were doing work. Steven, I missed your question again. What's your question, Steven? Have you heard No, Steve, you ain't even talking about football. That's why I missed it. We talking football right now, man. We'll do undefeated chat talk later, my boy. Beck is solid. Yes, Beck is solid. But the wide receivers at Georgia, I want to pull up a graphic for y'all because I don't think y'all understand. Like, Georgia may have lost Brock Bowers and Lad McConkey. You know, two big guys that I feel like two guys that I know were very impactful for what they like to do. Let me pull up this UGA football roster real quick for y'all. Go ahead and pull this up. I'm gonna show y'all why I think they are gonna have a solid wide receiver core this season. You know, a lot of people, and I'm not a Georgia hater. I just dislike Georgia fans. I think that's what it is for me. I don't too much care for the new Georgia fans who act like they weren't just like the bottom of the barrel for even the first few years under Kirby Smart. They were not. The first year under Kirby, I think they lost 4 games, I believe. Nicholls State. Yeah, I remember that. Georgia forgets about Nicholls State, right? But we ain't gonna talk about it. Anyways, all right, this is what I like with Georgia right now. Dominique Lovett got it transferred from doggone let me see. It's the wrong one. Let me pull it up. It's the wrong one. I like Lovett from last year though. All right, so I guess that is. Pull this up. Don't stall on me now. Yeah. Let me pull it up. Dominic Lovett was one of my favorites. The Blaylock kid, I think he ended up transferring. I hate that for him because he had came back from that injury. I think he ended up transferring. And I'm not one of these fans that follow other people's teams and all of that. Like I handle what I can handle. Is Ra Thomas coming back for UGA this year? Arian Smith, is he coming back? They might have lost a lot. Who else? Where's this kid at, man? I think the kid's name was Young or Evans. It was one of them kids, man. They were raving about last year. I think he might have a nice little season. Dylan Bell is another one. Sneaky good, sneaky speed. Another good guy. Y'all see Malachi Muse had hit the portal on them boys. Or Makai Muse, whatever the kid's name was. He kind of reminds you of, what's the kid's name? Trent Holiday. It was like the Trent Holiday for Georgia. But they also, y'all remember when Brock Bowers went down last year? They had Oscar Delp, who stepped up, and you couldn't tell the difference between him and Bowers. Their production on the field, you couldn't tell the difference. And if you want to be a hater and act like you could, go ahead. But Oscar Delp was definitely solid. And then Lawson Lucky, who's a year behind him, he was kind of like another version of what we see from Robbie. You know what I'm saying? So Georgia, Mike Bobo and their staff, they will find a way to use their personnel. They won't miss a beat, man. They will not miss a beat. Yep. And Antoine, you know what? That always comes back to bite them. You know, when they're able to hide weaknesses, because they don't seem to focus on developing those weaknesses. And then when they play a team that's just as talented, then it gets exposed and they're not able to really put it out there, you know, make those adjustments. So, and William said he don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. I feel you right there. I just hate the fans, man. I can't stand the fans. Smoot, other than Bama, UGA didn't play. Facts, 100%. And you see what happened when they played us. I'm good, a little sleepy. Antoine, you better wake up. Hopefully that woke you up. So I switched cups, y'all. So I drank the coffee. Now we about to get on this juice. Let me see. Hold up.
Good.
Oh, yeah, that's good. So, y'all know I got to put y'all on whenever I get put on, right? Y'all remember when I was in VA and I used to always be drinking the the strawberry lemonade, the Wawa strawberry lemonade. Well, today, the Lord has blessed me. Well, the green screen gonna mess it up. But the Lord has blessed me with some cran apple ocean spray. If you are an ocean spray juice drinker, get you some of this cran apple. Cran apple ocean spray. The juice of champions, such as myself. Give me a sponsorship right now. I want one. It's good. You know it. You know it. Glenn Fielder said they played Florida State. Man, they played FAMU call-up players. That's what they did. Florida State, they Tallahassee, FAMU right across the street from Florida State. They went across there the week before the bowl game, and they was like, hey, some of y'all boys gonna be looking for spots next year. Pull up. We got spots. Everybody's opting out. Pull up. We got you. And that's what happened. So Beck should have thrown 5 interceptions against Bama, but we dropped every one of them. I'm not sold on Beck. Dude looks like he have a sleep 24/7. I think their offense takes a step back. Defense will be good. Okay, last comment. I'm gonna talk about Georgia because I don't want this to become a Georgia show. We starting to look like how Georgia shows when they talk about them. Listen, the game against us, Kevin Steele probably called his best defensive scheme game to combat Carson Beck and what he was able to do. If you look at a lot of those plays, Beck's reads were on point. His wide receivers had not seen coverages like we were throwing at them. So there was one play, and this is why I continue to highlight it. We had pressure on Beck. He steps up in the pocket. Not only does he step up in the pocket, he goes back after he transitioning through progressing through all 4 reads. He goes back to his 3rd read on the delay dig, and he hits it in stride, on point, on target, with coverage in the vicinity. It's plays like that he made consistently last year. I think Beck is being held back by the offensive play caller. Honestly, that's what I think. Nothing that he does on his own. I think it's the play calling that puts him in kind of some weird situations. And when they can't lean on their offensive line and their running backs, Mike Bobo doesn't really have a alternate game plan for that. So yeah, I think Georgia will be fine, but I think Bama is in a better position to really dominate offensively. Yep. Thanks. Yeah, I know, Glenn. I know you just joking. Them boys love all those cran grape and cran cherry. Oh, yes, sir. What you know about that? What you know about that, Steven? Hey, Smook, do you think we'll be okay since we lost another good DB? Honestly, man, I really do. We had 6 solid DBs in this signing class. And 2 of them, Drake Kirkpatrick is playing safety right now. But Red Morgan is also playing in that in-between role, that nickel, in our old style, that old nickel corner / safety, guy that could play strong safety, corner, or free. Red Morgan, Drake Kirkpatrick is also playing in that role. But you got some experience there. You got some, not necessarily experience, you got some veteran guys there. Embracing Hubbard, who's going to have an opportunity to step up. He just signed Cam Howard. I think he's going to come in and be a great rotational piece, be able to come in. And now he's not forced to be a starter. Then you got stars like Keon Sabb, Damani Jackson out there on the field, Malachi Moore, guys who can have the ability to be stars with the experience in Devontae Smith. You got guys who have an opportunity to really prove themselves this year in Jaleel Hurley. So I think we're set up. It's always been a numbers thing since all the transfers before the spring. It's just been a numbers thing in that secondary room in the cornerback position. Our defense shut them down on 3rd and 4th. Facts. We had a solid defense. Piano Man with the $4.99 super chat says we will be fine. Roll Tide. Appreciate that $4.99, big brother. My brother. When does the portal close? Portal's closed now, right? Portal closed last night at 11:58. 11:59. My fault. That white grape cherry was my stuff back in the day before I got bougie and moved to the cold press. Listen, I don't think I'm gonna ever move past that white. No, the one that I would like is the white cran peach, I think it is. Now that one, it looked like a gem at the store. Like out of all the juices, you see it and you like, it's like, with like the light behind it. Yeah, that's what I be seeing. But yeah, I think no more portal stuff there. No more portal stuff today. Get boxed. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm sick of this portal stuff. I just don't think this staff is trying to hit home runs in the portal. They want depth and plan to coach up the guys who are committed to the Tide. David Mills. This is a sentiment that myself and Coach Jay got a lot of flack for maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. And Coach Sean disagrees with us, you know, which is rightfully so. My thing is, Coach Sean is a pessimist by nature because he can identify the worst and he wants to prepare for that. All right. Not saying he's a negative Nancy. He likes to identify the worst, no matter how good it looks. And you need coaches like that on your staff. We have coaches like that on our staff at Bama. But he will identify what could possibly be the worst, and he wants to plan for that, even if stuff is looking good. So it wasn't that this staff wasn't confident in the personnel that they have on the roster. It's more so a fact we don't have the numbers, right? And my thing was, okay, we may not have the numbers, but we have talent that we can throw out there. And 7 times, if they're winning 60% of their snaps, we're in a good position because we've had veterans guys out there, and we're winning 40% of the snaps. 4 out of 10. Our guys are getting beat 6 out of 10 times. That's not good. We've had years like that where we literally had to play safe because we didn't have DBs on the perimeter that the staff was confident enough to put in the man lock situations or put in the match pass situations. Like now we have a group of young guys that have an early spring. They got their early spring experience. Schematics are really getting set in place. Kane Womack is making adjustments based off the personnel. That's another thing. Having a coach that understands personnel and knows how to cover the weaknesses, not necessarily cover them to like keep them from being exposed, but to cover them, to put them in positions just in case we attack your weakness. I'll put my guy in a position to counter that with the best possible production capabilities as possible, right? So I agree with you, man. Let's go with these young guys. Let's develop them. We got a whole nother fall camp before the season kicks off. You know, put them in situations and progressively challenge them every practice, every week, every game. Give them more to work with because clearly they have the ability to pick up that much in a matter of 15 practices. 15 practices. Next season, before fall camp kicks off, they'll have another 15 practices before the first game. I think it's 15 total practices. It'll be 3 weeks when they start fall camp before the first kickoff. So that'll be another one. I thought the portal closed tonight at midnight. Is it tonight or last night? It's tonight. Okay, bet. So tonight it'll be closed. Hey, I like this one, David Mills. I know you try to correct yourself, but this one made me feel like I'm kind of bilingual. If you ain't with us, you're against us. Perdido. Perdido, baby. Moon Rocker in this thing. Boy, what's good, my boy? Bunch of pinky out mofos in here while I sit here drinking lime flavor cool. Train wreck. Look, you talking about us in our ocean spray? Train wreck, don't do that. Join the club, man. Ocean spray ain't even expensive. And it's healthier than Kool-Aid. It's healthier. Who in here on that high C? This was the second health choice I made in my life. Went from high C to 100%. Hey, listen, I'm trying to get there, man. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get to the grapefruit, fresh press, the orange. I'm also trying to get into what they call it, juicing. I want to start juicing these vegetables. I used to juice for like a good 4.5 months back in 2020, when everything, we was getting them stimulus checks. Y'all remember y'all was getting them stimuluses? Yeah. Used to be able to go and get that good grocery. You know what I'm saying? Now brother gotta work. Work. Perdido. Look what you done started, David. Perdido. If you ain't with us, then you against us. Perdido. You'll see names pop up in the portal after today. Schools have 48 hours to process. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. So like even with Peyton Woodyard, officially in the portal as of this morning, I believe yesterday was just an announcement of his intent to enter the portal, right? So a lot of timeline things that we had questions about with his process, it's starting to line up now that we continue to uncover more information about the process, not necessarily him, but the process of how this works. And a lot of players are having those meetings. They were having those meetings Monday morning. Most college coaches are going to talk to their players Monday morning before they try to get their week started. Puts it out in front of them. Football is the primary reason why you came to college, right? It helped you get to college. Let's get this out in front of you. I like how this staff is handling it. Straightforward, direct plans. This is the plan for you in the future based off our evaluation over these 15 practices, these few weeks of fourth quarter program, plus this, that, and the third. This is how we want to evaluate you. We have this type of plan for you. How does that fit your plan for your life? Talk to your people. Let us know what you got going on. We also have aspirations. If you're not looking to stay, we're looking at this young man, this what he possibly brings to the table. Like, if those are the conversations being had, I can only respect that, because now you're setting this up. You're making kids make business decisions like we're allowing them to be treated as if this is a business. We're treating them as if this is a business, but we're trying to limit their decision making. No, let's set it up with the coaching staff to where we're having these transparent conversations. We're talking about the real life business aspect of this new age of college football. And I think the staff is handling it really good. Cindy said we also had more time on our hands then too. That all stopped when we got called back to work. Facts, 100%. That COVID stuff, boy. Oh man, I'm telling you, man. Juicing vegetables. Yeah, you never juice vegetables? Well, you tripping. Get you some celery and some spinach and stuff and get all that junk juiced up together. Get you like a not strawberries. You get you an orange or a banana juice in the banana, a whole banana with the peel and everything, man. You'll be surprised, bro. I gotta put on some crazy stuff. Put some green tea in that mug, mix it. Look, William just said it. Mix it with some real green tea. It's a good drink, man. Put some ice in that mug. Drink a whole bottle of cranberry juice, gave me the bubble. Oh man, pineapple is sweet. See, pineapples, they get too sweet. When you juice a pineapple, so the pineapple juice you get in those cans, that's not real pineapple juice. Coconut too. Coconut. You get some real coconut water, some coconut milk. Yes, sir. Free will decision making and consequences. Wait. Free will decision making and consequences. Old school. Right. Glenn. So I got a question for the chat, and we can answer this. Just post your answers. Reply with your comments. Do you guys believe? And I want to word this correctly. Do you all believe that Tua, after Coach Saban announced that Jalen Hurts would be the quarterback, even a year after Tua came on the campus, with this new portal windows, y'all know if that would have been a thing back then, Tua could have entered the portal after spring and been the starting quarterback in the running for Heisman for another team. If this portal, do y'all think that this new style would have benefited the Saban era, or would it have hurt the Saban era? Yeah, Al, they in here acting up. They acting up again. Tua said he almost transferred to USC. Right. Nah. Hurt bad? You think both? Nah, you gotta pick one or the other. I think it would have hurt. I think it would have hurt us. But still, in today's day and age, he had that WT, and great point. But he had that mentality because there were no options for him to stay and still be able, like, just imagine, like his brother had to do. Talia had to leave and get a waiver so that he could be eligible to play that following season. Just imagine guys like Blake Barnett that left. Blake Barnett, as much as I didn't like him for Bama, I think Blake Barnett could have went anywhere else and had a solid career if he had the opportunity, didn't have to have that extra weight on him of, hey, if I leave now, I'm gonna have to sit a whole year and wait for this. I mean, we had quarterbacks sitting at Bama, Star Jackson. Star Jackson go to a scheme like what they was running at Mississippi State, or he go to Georgia Tech. He's a starting quarterback during his time here. So that's my take on it. If I told the whole story, y'all would be laughing your tails off. Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. We don't want to hear it. Hurt it badly. That was the key for this entire run. 100%. JT, I'm glad you said it. We lose Tua and Najee. Think about it. Najee came in that first year, breaking off 12, 15-yard runs, and we weren't giving him the ball. We weren't giving him the ball like he felt like he deserved. So I think we are. Nah, Tua wouldn't have waited. Tua definitely wouldn't have waited, Dino. He told the story. Go watch it. he told a story about how he had the challenges of wanting to, but because of a leader like Jalen Hurts, guy like that, it helped him make his decision. His father and their faith, all of that stuff played a lot into. If you leave in the spring before the fall even come around, you wasn't really committed to the team for real. I don't think so. If you leave before spring, before you go through competition, before you see how you measure up in the coach's eyes, the coach's evaluation, if you don't give them an opportunity to evaluate you and see if you can contribute to what their vision is for the team, that's when I feel like you're not committed. But if you do what Curtis Perry did, if you do what Peyton Woodger did, if you do what James Brockemeyer did, if you do what, I forget the kicker's name, if you do what they did and they go through a whole spring and they compete, they Prairie had great plays during the A-Day. Peyton Woodger, we saw his plays, almost had a pick on Ty Simpson. Who else? Curtis Perry, Peyton Woodger. You saw James Brockemeyer snapping with the ones, took all the first team snaps, right? So these guys competed. And then after spring, they had their conversations and their visions didn't align with what the coaching staff was to do. So why would I still, that's like, so for everybody that's saying, if you're not committed to the team, is the team really committed to me? At the end of the day, I didn't just come to college football to be committed to a brand. I want to play football. That's what I came to college to do, to play football, get my education and play football. If I feel like I'm good enough to be on the field right now and you don't feel like that's in your vision for the team, then I should have every opportunity. After I've showed you what I can do, I should have the opportunity to go and show somebody else that same thing. And if there are people already out there that have been evaluating me and they feel like I'm a perfect fit and I come in and I can slide right into that spot where I want to be anyways, I'll take a chance on doing that. I'll put winning on the back burner for a few games or a few weeks or a year to really get out there and put some quality film out there, because that's what I'm getting evaluated for to get to the next level. There's a very small percentage of college athletes who don't have, listen to what I say, and I'm gonna say this as clear as possible. There's a very small percentage of college athletes who do not have aspirations of playing in the NFL. Listen to what I said. A very small percentage of college football athletes who do not have aspirations of playing in the NFL. So let's put it on a percentage perspective. Let's say, how many roster spots, somebody in the undefeated right now, how many roster spots do we have in the NFL? We got 32 teams. I think each team has a total of 55. Is it 55 or 65 roster spots? Let's do some math. And pull out the calculator. You got 32 times, and you got what? 55. How many roster spots we got in the NFL? 55. Okay, 55. So that's 1,760 total players in the NFL, right? That's on roster that are eligible to play every Sunday, right? Then you turn around, look at how many college football players, D1 college football players, are in the state of Alabama, right? I guarantee you, if you go to every major college football, every major college football program in the state of Alabama, UAB, Alabama, you got Alabama, UAB, Auburn, you got South Alabama, you got what other schools in Alabama? And I'm talking about D1, FBS. Who else? Troy. You got Troy in the state of Alabama. You're talking about 85, anywhere from 80 to 85 players on all of those teams, right? That's 5 teams. That's 400 players in just the state of Alabama, right? 400 who have aspirations of playing at the next level. You go over to the state of Georgia, you probably have another 400 to 800. You go to South Carolina, Florida, North Carolina. By the time you get out the Southeast, you've already hit that 1760 mark. And there's only a small percentage of those guys, maybe 3 out of those guys. Out of 5, let's say 5 out of those guys are going to make it to the NFL. And you have that in every state, every college, every state has that, 3 or 4 colleges that they are considered D1. So it's the nature of the business when you're talking about guys taking advantage of opportunities to get on the field. You have to get your film out there early. You have to get product out there early so it could be evaluated. And you have outliers. You have late bloomers because of the brand that they play for. But in today's day and age, You got so many media outlets and things that you can do to get exposure. Why do I sit a year when I know I'm ready right now? Or feel like I'm ready, right? It makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense to me when you go to spring camp and then you wait it out, you have those conversations, look at the plan. If it don't align, if there's an opportunity for you to get out there and you feel like that's what's best for you, take it. Take it. Right, David. And we're just talking about scholarship guys. 1,700 in Florida alone, right? Come on now. And I didn't plan to talk about this, but it kind of, I think it puts in perspective of what these top recruits are dealing with when they come in and there's this opportunity to go somewhere. Maybe your visit to Bama while Coach Saban was here was so great that you was like, okay, Bama brand. Now that Coach DeBoer and this new staff is here, I'm a free safety coach. Well, I feel like, man, look, you say you're a free safety, but I feel like you can be a nasty strong safety or a nasty cover corner. I feel like this is what you can do. I want to take a year to develop this for you. What do you feel? Coach, I'm a free safety. Well, within his rights to believe that and to build on that, right? He's been doing it this whole year. And I'm not saying that's verbatim what happened with Peyton Woodard or any player. I mean, it could be the same with Pritchett. I mean, not Pritchett, but James Brockermeyer. Man, we know you've been here for 4 years. You look very well at the center position. But what would you think about possibly sliding over to guard so that we can move Tyler Booker to tackle, since we're having a problem at left tackle and we're not sure what we're going to get from what we have coming in, but we do want to evaluate you here. What do you feel? What are your feels around it? Coach, I'm a center. I came to Alabama to play center. You know, I understand, but what if we can use, Coach, I have 1 year left to try to get to the league. I need to take opportunities. Am I going to have a real opportunity to continue to compete and be the lead guy for this position, like you said? Well, we got Brockermeyer coming. That's fine. More power to you, Coach. I got plans. TCU, here I come. Nothing wrong with that. Honestly, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. I think my only concern with this staff is that there's really only 2 proven killers on it right now. You got to be dirty and paranoid to make it in the SEC, and the Porter era can get better, though. I don't think so, man. I don't think so. I think that there's more than, I mean, I look at, these are the names I look at. Freddie Roach, Robert G., Colin Hitchler, Mo Lindquist, Nick Sheridan, Jamarcus Shepard. 6 guys right there who really have a stronghold on recruiting. Every region that they've been in, they've been able to be top-rated recruiters in that region. And these are guys that have held coordinator positions. They held player position, coach positions. Like, these guys have experience on the coaching side, but also they started in recruiting. They started to get recognized because of their recruiting. Colin Hitchler is a big name when it comes to safeties and getting guys to and putting them in developmental spots and developing guys. Colin Hitchler is a huge name. But I even look at our head coach. Kalen DeBoer is a QB whisperer. When it comes to scheming up for a quarterback to develop, like, he calls plays to develop your quarterback. You will see all his quarterbacks that have played under him, they develop in the game. They are steadily developing. You never saw Michael Penix peak. He had tough games, but you never saw him peak last year under Kalen DeBoer or the year before. So, yeah, don't sleep on Mo. Do not sleep on Coach Mo Lindquist. Please don't. He's one of the primary. He's one of the key contributors to what our recruiting is doing. One of the a key contributor. So, with that being said, y'all, what's on y'all minds? I think we had a good talk about portal not concepts, but ideals, or viewpoints. I think we've had some good talk today. I feel like I don't want to keep beating a dead horse with this portal talk. You know, I just say I wait it out. I react to the news just like y'all. If it ain't recruiting inside, or if it ain't team reporting about scheme or what we could see from our lineups, players on the roster, my hands off of it. I react to it now. I react to it. So don't ask me for no scoop about no portal stuff. Y'all, I don't even want that scoop, man. That's a whole nother mess. That stuff, I'm telling y'all. Now, when I get intel about where a guy could be headed, like, you know, I told y'all yesterday that Oregon might be a player for Woodyard, a dark liar, somebody that's coming out of the woodworks and making a push. Y'all see now the reports are coming out that's true. Hopefully y'all were in here yesterday when I said that. You know, I don't like to be sitting here making false claims, but I know everybody was in here yesterday when I I said UCLA, USC, and Oregon was a dark liar. I can go and clip it for y'all and everything. Chris Brown did better than the rappers, which is crazy. You know what? I'm tired of y'all talking about this diss track. I'm gonna actually get on here and go listen to it. Ronald Thompson. Vegas is smarter than us. Vegas is smarter than us. Vegas knows how to get the money up to bet against us, right? This is one of those things where they're setting everybody up. Vegas knows. Vegas is waiting for the Alabama-Georgia game to start flipping those odds. I guarantee it. We'll see it flip. If Alabama is 3-0 going into that Georgia game, when we beat Georgia 41-20 is my prediction. Watch the Vegas odds shift in our favor. Smook, how about going back to my question since you ready to talk about everything? What was your question again? You got to remind me. Did he? Oh, Lord Jesus. I got to go see it. Steven be coming off real disrespectful, don't I? I'm going to have to fire you up again, Steven. You know, I'll roast you real quick, you my boy. It's bad. It's bad, JT. And Steve, you know when I roast you, it's all out of love, man. Steven, next time I do a calling segment, man, you got to call in. Got to get you to call in, my boy. Let me, did I start your comment? Have I heard Tom McDonald's God Made? No, I haven't. I haven't not heard it. I haven't heard Tom. Have you heard Tom? I haven't heard it, bro. I haven't heard it. I can't wait to see what the new kicker looks like. Told y'all months ago our kicking was suspect. Now I feel much better. Trainwreck, you and everybody else, we were all echoing the same sentiments. You know, we know we have Connor, Tauti, energetic, big leg. Accuracy is not there. But has time to grow. Now. Stick it out, grow. You're a kicker. Keep going. Was watching the Bussin' Boys podcast with Jay Miro. He basically said that with the freedom of this office, he can do whatever he wants. Not just whatever he wants. He just feels more comfortable with doing what's asked of him. And if that's not there, he's comfortable with doing what he does best, right? And that's creating plays. Don't y'all think that we have a coach that was at Washington and played for the national champion, and in his background, we should pick up where we left off? I think so, Jeff. And I mean, that's like a kind of a vague leading up to it, you know, but I get where you're coming from. I know exactly what you mean. You're telling me that a coach that just was at Washington with a roster full of 3 stars, 2 stars, some of these guys weren't even rated, you know, and in a matter of 2 years, he only loses 3 games with this team, 3 games, and 2 of them are big games, like 3 of them, all 3 of them were big games, big marquee games where you just got out talented. Michigan didn't out scheme Washington. They just beat them. They had the better players. They had more better players. Put it like that. They had more better players. They had more players to use. Michigan just out talented Washington. And now you're giving a coach like Kalen DeBoer this Alabama roster. It's going to get crazy. Oh yeah, new kickers on point. Connor Tauti was no accuracy. Big leg, no accuracy. And I think Tauti might be the kickoff guy. Facts, Bama fan. Yeah, Bama fan. Hey, you right there with me, man. Jan's rant was fire. We need more of that. Listen. Jazz be going in, man. Jazz is very not animated, but Jazz is the voice you want. When you want, like, y'all remember Key and Peele when they had the guy that was like speaking Obama's thoughts, like his thought speaker, the guy standing off to him. That's what I feel like Jance can do for this channel. Because if I go, it gets real homeboyish, but Jance goes in as a fan. You know what I'm saying? So I like the way his approach is. And how many guys got drafted from Washington? 10. You know who else had 10 guys drafted in this draft? Coach Saban. Come on, man. Dwight, Tom went off, really dissed everybody. Who is Tom? Oh, he said, we need a Darius to hear Jance rant. Nah, see, Darius. What crazy is Darius don't hate Bama. Darius do not hate Bama. He was being tricked to be a Bama hater. And he's coming to the light. He's come to the light. So give him some time to kind of settle in. You know, he still got some residue from that other side. You know what I'm saying? We got to wash him clean. Nah, we actually done, Dwight. We actually closing out the segment. That's why we talking and chilling like we have been. But yeah, y'all, I really appreciate y'all for pulling up. Today's segment was really just a wrap up of what we've been discussing the last 2 days. Tonight, we'll get into some recruiting, real recruiting, get some updates on some guys that we've had on this show. I got my phone here. It's around that time where we'll start getting some buzz, right? Start getting some text messages and things of that nature. I got some clips of some guys that I want y'all to check out, you know, that Alabama's currently targeting or committed to Alabama from some 7-on-7 competitions. And as always, man, if you don't already, make sure you follow me at Coach Smook on all platforms. Really trying to build the YouTube channel, trying to get the TikTok back going. About to be gaming again. We're getting on the gaming. So for all my gamers out there, I don't know. I know y'all heard me say it months ago when we talked about NCAA. I will be starting my own league, and I have people already signed up. We got, I think, 19 users already that's ready to be ready for July 25th when the game drops. Or is it July 5th? I think my kickoff date for my league is going to be the 25th of July. But I'm looking for people to help come on and you know, get some content created, right, with NCAA. But I also play a little Warzone, all of that stuff. That's what I'm going to be getting on today. I ain't played in months, so if you're trying to run it, I'll make a post on Twitter. I'll share it, and I'll be live on my Kick channel, kick.com/Coach Smook. Check me out over there. That's a channel. That's a page where no copyrighted music, none of that. We get to vibe out. We get to have some fun, and it's good. I don't really talk Bama football over there, just vibes. We just talk. We just have good time. Sometimes we do prank phone calls. Sometimes we do video, live reviews, reactions, all of this stuff. We watch highlights. We'll react to old highlight films created. Like I want to do one of Julio Jones, reaction to Julio Jones highlights, his career at Alabama. Want to do a highlight DJ Hall, Tyron. I want to do a Alabama wide receiver highlight reaction. And I want to download it and clip it and just post it. You know, content is about to be overload on everything that Coach Smook is doing. But as always, anything Bama football or anything Bama related, think of Bama football on YouTube with Kyle Henderson and the whole team. Myself, Ty Hayes, Coach Jantz. I don't know if I should say Jake anymore. I'm not sure. And Jake is still family, y'all. It's just he got other career things he's dealing with. So, you know, supporting him and everything that he do. That's my brother. Always going to be my brother. And when it's time come back to be back on the channel, man, y'all already know I'm bringing him on. Me and him going to do our collab segments like we was doing right before he had to do what he had to do. So, but yeah, going forward, y'all just continue to support the channel. Continue to support all the personnel on the platform. Again, I'm at Coach Smook on all platforms. And if you have any recruits that you want me to check out, you got some highlight film, some under the radar guys, some reality or reach, questions or suggestions, CoachSmook@gmail.com. Send it to me, and you might have an opportunity to have it featured on the live segment. The schedule for tonight is as follows. Let me pull up this schedule right here. Pull this up. Schedule. 6 o'clock, you got Coach Jay. 7 o'clock, you got Coach Sean. And 8 o'clock, you got me once again. Like I said, the plan is to have some, if not have them on, look at some recruits, get some updates, tell y'all what the deal is as far as their process. Possibly talk about some unofficials that's happening over, before the semester ends. You got finals this week at the University of Alabama, I believe. That a lot of, I know my nephew was up there. He was talking about they have finals this week. So, a lot of those guys are really locked in trying to secure some things before the summer. Some of these kids are already, in their off-season training regimens, getting ready for the fall. I'm excited to get into some of that. And we'll see. We might have a special guest on the phone, maybe, might be able to have a phone call with one of the previous draft picks, right? One of the most recent draft picks. And yeah, I want to try to do that. I'm going to try to do something different tonight, continue to grow the channel, continue to bring some exposure here, and keep the vibes going. Keep the growing vibe there. And just know, when college football season kick back off, this will be the place for all your Bama football news, reports, reactions, and takes. I'm telling you, this is going to be the channel. Anything Coach Smook is attached to is going to be successful. I refuse to fail, and I don't care adversity, haters, naysayers. I'm going to be here. Been doing this for a while now with content, ups and downs. I'm going to keep pushing, y'all. I'm going to keep pushing. My Twitch is at Coach Smook. I'm actually thinking about going back live on Twitch. So check me out on Twitch too. I don't post on Twitch much. I don't do they whole progress of how to get affiliated and all that stuff is weird to me. So I don't really bother Twitch. But we will get back to it. Wait for the portal to close before you add anyone. Backwood. I don't think that's how that worked, bro. I don't think I mean, in retrospect, that's how you would want it to work, but you got to be an active player, whether the playing field is something you want to play on or not. You got to be an active player. You got to get in there. Your face, you got to have a presence, right? Always knowing that Alabama is possibly looking at a guy. That's a presence to maintain. So yeah, but yeah, nah, David, I don't want Cremani. Hey, but all love to everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate y'all for pulling up, showing support, doing what y'all do. We appreciate you all here at Bama Football on YouTube. And with that said, let me get the right beat on. So we can end this thing the right way. Y'all know how I like to end this, man. Peace and blessings to everyone. My words of encouragement to you all today is I don't have any. I just say go feel good, man. If it feel good, do it. If you feel good, do it. Live happy, live free. Be confident in everything that you do. Step your step, walk your walk, talk your talk. And if you're a real Bama fan, you should know how that feels. Hey, let's keep supporting this team. Let's keep supporting these players. Let's keep supporting this coaching staff. Let's keep supporting each other as a community. Much love to everybody. And with that being said, I'm going to leave y'all with a big old roll tide. Roll. Catch y'all tonight. Y'all be blessed.